All right, 3 o'clock on a Friday. You made it. Welcome aboard the post-game show alongside Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phillips. We are inside the Herndon Chevy Studios on what is once again a rather balmy August afternoon in South Carolina's capital city. But wherever you might be, we appreciate you taking time out of your day to be with us. Got a lot to get to on today's program. Our good friend Ben Portnoy will join us coming up bottom of this hour to give us his take on the Michigan penalties. If you have not yet seen or heard, this goes back to the primarily, there are other things, but primarily the sign stealing scandal, it's fun to say, involving Connor Wild Stallions and Jim Harbaugh's complete, basically, denial of anything.
He never knew anything.
And then totally his subsequent just refusal to participate, cooperate with anything.
He didn't know anything. So why are you going to cooperate when you don't know anything?
Yeah, plausible deniability.
He was
and
shocked
such. That's right.
with the whole situation.
But we'll get into that with Ben, and we'll give you more of our take on it as well, because, we're not going to sit here. Look, it doesn't really matter. I don't mean this, in a negative way. It doesn't really matter how you feel about what Michigan did. It really, the story is more about where the NCAA is now admittedly placed itself when it comes to punishments. So what does this mean moving forward? There are cynics out there that may have some validity to their points today, Terry, that are saying, oh, okay, because basically, y'all, the biggest penalty is a fine. And there's a lot of people out there going, you don't think, Big State U and its boosters will just say, oh, okay, well, if that's what Michigan got popped with, we can raise that. And away we go. So I think that's really as much of the story today as anything that is actually happening, because otherwise Michigan will weather this storm.
You may tell you, like in the new world we're in, where I'd hit somebody in the rev share. I'd hit you in the rev share.
Well, they're hitting them in the rev, right? It's just maybe not the share. Yeah, could you say, you can only share. All right. Well,
I'd say, I'd drop you to like 15 million.
Yeah, and then you just get McDonald's bags.
Yeah, but that's what I would do, though, and force them to go to McDonald's.
And then if you get caught with the McDonald's bags, because who's enforcing things like, and they didn't get too much in the way of some recruiting restrictions. There's a couple here or there.
Well,
but who's enforcing it?
I know. And the only other thing to me, I've always said, if you want to really make somebody pay attention, if you really want to enforce things, you hit them in the pocketbook hard and you hit them in the scholarship book hard.
Yeah.
And that's where you really go.
And Michigan's penalties come to a percentage in a lot of ways. So there's not a hard and fast number on exactly how much they will have to pay. And then and who gets the money?
The Terry Ford J. Phillips Foundation. So
Tom Hart put out something, and I retweeted something of what he said, because let me go back to it real quick here, and I'll tell you. He said, I think a proper football program punishment is to fund scholarships at your rival school. And I know he's being a little tongue-in-cheek, but what I said was this. I said, fair point, fines for field and court storming in the SEC go to the visiting school that lost. So the same principle applies. Now, I mean, should Michigan have to pay that $30 million, like literally stroke some kind of check to each member of the Big Ten, or at least the schools that were on their schedule
or how
during those years?
How about this? You take X amount of their TV money and you dole it out to the other schools.
To the other schools. I mean, you gotta find a way, because look, I don't want to say otherwise it doesn't matter. Like, for instance, when an NFL player, it doesn't matter which one, but when an NFL player is fined for something that he did in a game, a late hit, something where, who was it? James Harrison used to say, man, I set aside $100,000 a year for fines.
Yes.
That money goes to the league, but the league puts it into NFL charities.
Right.
And then it is dispersed through NFL charities across the country. So that's kind of nice, right? And I don't know. So, again, if you were to say, well, hey, if the $30 million goes into the NCAA's General Scholarship Fund, like, okay, or some form of charitable organization.
I just feel like we have to sit down.
But I don't want it going to Mark Emmert. I know he's not there.
No, yeah, I was going to say, not that guy. Who, by the way, stole money for how many years?
Too many.
I mean, that dude should
I don't
have been
know how
in
many, but it was too
for
many.
the money he stole. Because I'm sitting here as we're talking about it, and I'm going, what is really a penalty today? What can because I just threw off the top of my head, okay, take the rev share. Okay, but like you said, all right, they'll just bag up some dough and throw it on somebody's porch.
Yeah.
All right, let's take money and give it to the other schools. I mean, you can do that and hit them in the TV wallet. That might be something. Take away a bunch of scholarships that go over years. People say, well, you're punishing the people that are showing up. Well, you know what? I've changed on that over the years. I say this. Well, you know what? They broke the rules big time.
Yeah.
And, yeah, is it unfair? Then guess what? Then kids don't go there. And now you get penalized.
I think I'm with you on rev share or some form. And again, there's this fine could approach $30 million.
I just always think the money is where you hurt these guys the most.
That's a thing. $30 million is that's $30 million. Now, Michigan's athletic revenues per year are probably close to $200 million. So how significant is it?
Do you ramp it up like more?
And that's why it's a percentage.
30 million.
By the way, that's why it's a percentage.
Yeah, I mean, do you double the percentage? I mean, if you're going to do this, Jay, if you're seriously going to enforce penalties, you got to make them hurt.
Well, and let's see how much of a precedent they've set, because we talked about that during the week. We don't really ever see them use precedent. Like Oklahoma State fans today are apoplectic about the fact that they had a $300 somebody, there was an exchange of $300 illicitly, and Oklahoma State's basketball team, like 5 years ago, had to miss the NCAA.
Yeah.
And Pat Forty made a really good point today on his Twitter feed. That is going to be, unless there's something just egregious in the future, that's likely going to be the final sport to see a team banned from postseason play for any kind of rule violation. They're not going to do it anymore.
Well, let me ask you this, just so we're spitballing this thing back and forth, but isn't that something, because you're missing out on postseason money in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
If you ban a team from postseason play and ban them from getting any kind of conference split, remember, when you go to certain levels of the NCAA tournament or you go to bowl games, some of that money gets split through the conference, right?
Correct.
Do you take a team, not only ban them from the postseason, but also ban them from getting any of the postseason money?
That's a good question. We'll ask. That's one of the things we'll ask Ben, because I think he's going to have been digging into, as I say, the part of the story that doesn't directly affect Michigan, but the part of the story that will now be and I'm air quoting, deterrent for other schools that may be thinking about or have already in some way violated NCAA policy. Because right now, it doesn't seem like a whole lot of people are really scared of.
That was going to be my next point. Or, as we're batting this thing back and forth, do you just look up and just throw your arms in the air and go, hell, what is an NCAA violation? What's an NCAA penalty?
Remember, to your point, I can't remember who now, because I've read a whole bunch about this, and there's been some good things on Twitter about it as well. But one of the points was basically and it was hypothetical, but from the Committee on Infractions perspective, as they met, because they, like not this morning, but as they were doing this in the last few weeks, what outcome isn't going to get us sued?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, everybody's suing.
And if you're telling Michigan, well, the people that have already left your program are going to get popped with a lot of penalties. Your current head coach, basically, he's got what he's got. They added a game. That was it. He was going to serve 2 games. Now it's 3. And other than that, it's monetary, and y'all got the money.
Yes, because that's the thing now. There's so much money, dude. I mean, $30 million sounds like a lot in theory till we step back and say, well, they generated
it's about 15% of what you generate, and it's over. I think they have to pay it over 2 years, so it's really not even that much in the grand.
So
I mean, it's $30 million.
I mean, only like guys like you have that kind of money.
If you did this to Southern Miss,
you're kicking somebody in the lower extremities, right?
And even if you did this, honestly, if you did $30 million to Mississippi State,
yeah. So to me, it's like, if you really want to deter things, then like for Michigan, hell, make it 50%. I mean, if you're going to beat up somebody,
and I don't know what they bandied about. I don't know how far they went with numbers and what they decided. So
I just feel like it's like anything, man. like for an example, you've driven through Virginia.
Many times.
Virginia is historically a state where they will pull you over. It used to be. Like, it's not as hardcore, but it used to be, hell, you were going 55. If you were going 58 and a 55, you get pulled over in Virginia. They ain't screw around, man, right. Especially if you had out-of-state plates. So you knew going through Virginia, what didn't you do?
Yeah, you don't speed.
You don't speed.
Yeah.
So
Virginia's for lovers.
Well, and obviously for speeding tickets. That'd be a great thing to put on the sign. Virginia is for speeders. But so if you get caught doing something, you're going to get nailed harsh.
Yeah.
Does that stop you from doing the things? There's some people it won't stop, Jay.
Won't. Yeah.
And here's my next question, a bigger question. Now, as we get all, in the weeds of this, we know all fans care about is the W. All fans care about national championships, banners, whatever. Let's say Michigan. Let's make up a story. Let's say Michigan, you won that national championship. Let's say the NCAA does really get. Let's say they took 50% of your revenues, total revenues for the next 5 years, and took away 25% of your scholarships. I mean, really hammered you. And let's say for the next 5 years, you're walking in the wilderness of mediocrity and below average. What's a Michigan fan going to say?
We want a title.
That's my point.
Yeah.
The punishment is a punishment. I guess my question at the end of the day of this, does the punishment ever fit the crime for fan bases? Because everything that goes on is because of the passion of fans.
Yeah,
right.
Not if you want a title.
Right. That's my point. Yeah. Hey, if Derrick Rose makes the free throws and Memphis wins the national championship, and then we get all this stuff coming down from Memphis, and they pull the banners, and they take the men in black pen and all this other ridiculousness, does anybody in Memphis, Tennessee care?
No, because they don't want a title.
Yeah. That's my point.
Yeah.
The punishment, is it ever really going to fit the crime if you win a title?
And all you got to do is just, okay, I can't hang a banner in the gym. I'll just, somebody in Memphis will just buy a billboard and put it outside the gym the rest of history.
Exactly. That's my point.
So, yeah, no, it's a story for sure. But again, I think it's the forward-looking part, like I said, that's nearly as big. Speaking of big stories, it's day 220-ish.
Your math is quite impressive.
Of the Rasul Faison watch. I'll tell you what, let me hit a timeout because I want to come back. I don't want to say I've got, new information, but I've got a couple of things to share that I've learned and asking some questions about exactly where this is. Some of it piggybacks off of our conversation about Rasul and his story on yesterday's program. Also, ESPN has put out its bowl projections for the coming season. They have two guys doing that, and both pick a bowl for South Carolina. I don't know that anybody wants to hear either of them. Jordan Kay will join us for the Gamecock Notebook a little bit later on, and a whole lot more to get to. And again, Ben Portnoy coming up in about 15, 20 minutes. And also, Top 5 Friday. No start bench drop today. Later on, we're going to give you some of the news that came down about the NFL's latest franchise valuations. You've now got a couple of clubs that are over $10 billion in value, and the Dallas Cowboys are even more than that. But it prompted us to ask you, who do you think, and this is your own opinion, who do you think are the 5 most popular franchises in the NFL? Not who's the best right now, who you think might be the best this season or top 5 to win the Super Bowl, just, regardless of how they're doing.
Popular.
Just who's the most popular? Who are the 5 most popular NFL franchises in the country today? So that'll be our Top 5 Friday. You can hit me on Twitter with that one. You can also hit us on the Firehouse Subs text line, 803-404-6100. Lots to do on this Friday. It's the postgame show. 19 minutes after 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. Welcome back into the postgame show. Jay and Terry with you. Our buddy Ben Portnoy coming up in a bit. Jordan Kay a little bit later on, part of the Gamecock Notebook. Premier League starts today. I'm excited. My team doesn't play until Sunday, but the season is back, and my Braves are cooking, man. They're cooking.
Telling you, dude.
The Braves have won 6 of 8.
Think about this. Not only, because when your team's out of it, you want your team to spoil other teams' seasons.
Yeah.
And it's especially sweet when they're spoiling the season of a team you don't like.
Yeah.
That's good stuff, dude.
It's and in their building.
Yes.
Elijah hit me right before the game ended last night. He's like, I really need the Braves to hold on to this. And I just tweeted or texted back a picture that I had taken last year from the ballpark, like a nice nighttime shot of the big Braves logo out in the outfield at Truist.
So how much money do you think Elijah put on the money
I just
line?
think it's about, I don't think it was money. I think it's about the fact that the Reds are only a half game back of the Mets for the final wild card spot.
The Mets have gone in the last, 3 weeks?
The Mets and Phillies both are on little losing streaks, but the Phillies have like a 5 or 6 game lead. The Braves are still,
by the way,
13 under.
I just want to tell you, Bryce Elder's giving you the big one-finger salute. You disrespected him last night. You know what he did?
I hedged my bets last night.
You know what he did? He went 7 last night.
I know. Believe me, I know. So.
Your boy Bryce Elder said, what, Jay Phillips doesn't believe in me?
But the Braves
I'll show that guy.
Braves are probably the hottest they've been all season, man.
I know.
They had that one little run after that dreadful start. They had that one little run.
They got to 500.
Yeah, and then they said, all right, that's it.
We're tired. We're tired.
As I said, it's day 220 of the Rasul Faison watch, give or take. Like a lot of us in our business, I just, ask questions of those, around the program about what's going on. And just, nobody can ever give us anything definitive because, one thing, they don't have anything definitive. That's up in Indianapolis somewhere. But I just, what's the real hang-up? And part of what prompted me asking this, even further here recently, we had a conversation on the show yesterday for a while about this. And some of you have asked, why hasn't he sued? And I think it's a very good question. Mm-hmm. Diego Pavia got his ruling because he sued, and he got a court order. There's a kid who plays at Indiana. He's from Texas. He grew up in Texas, and so he sued in Texas. And he got a judge to grant him at least a 2-week ability to practice with Indiana because the NCAA says, hey, bud, for sure, you don't have any eligibility left. And this kid is trying to argue, this kid from Texas who, again, plays for the Hoosiers, that, hey, the years I was at junior college, which was 2 years plus a redshirt year in junior college, shouldn't count at all. Mm-hmm. Just shouldn't even count. Because he's also played – the kid's also played 2 years at Indiana and a year at Ole Miss and wants to have another year at Indiana. And by my count, that's 7 years in college, 6 years of playing ball.
Yeah.
Now you got the COVID year, and the NCAA says, "Hey, we gave you the COVID year." Mm-hmm. So he's not been. This judge in Texas didn't rule for him to be eligible to play, but to practice for 2 weeks because the NCAA, unlike Rasul Faison, NCAA denied this kid's ability to practice because they're like, "Bro, you played 6 years." Mm-hmm. So
now his is closer to Pavia because Faison, his thing is about a gray shirt year in Marshall and when does clock start?
Correct.
The Pavia thing was JUCO shouldn't matter. And that's what this kid's kind of going down the Pavia road. Doesn't it feel more cut and dry to take that to court?
And I asked about that today, and the answer I got was that's not what Sewell's doing.
Right.
And, again, I can't sit here and share tons of detail because I don't have it, but what I did learn is there's a feeling that, and I think we've mentioned this, and others have too, but I got it reiterated to me a little more clearly today, that just there were some issues with how Marshall, this is probably the wrong way to put it, Terry, but it's the best way I can articulate it, helped him matriculate. And I know that's probably not quite what it is, but
matriculating himself through the system.
Yeah, it's like it was maybe supposed to have been done one way and it wasn't quite done the right way, and there was confusion, and then everybody that was at Marshall's gone.
Right. So
and
it's a whole new crew.
It's been hard to figure out who said what to whom and exactly what's happening. And, you know, and as I read between the lines, and let me make that abundantly clear, as I read between those lines, it sounds like maybe not that Rasul Faison got a raw deal, but that the grown-ups in the room may have let him down, and now they're gone. And so that's what the NCAA seemingly is trying to piece back together, and that's why I've said and told you this yesterday, that's why I believe that his excellent attorney, Darren Heitner from down in Miami, who, again, has won multiple cases against the NCAA over some of their rules, has not yet filed suit, because I don't think they can go in front of a judge and ask for certain things they're asking for when the judge would have incomplete, not false, all right, incomplete information on which to make a decision.
Because, and I when you and I were talking
and that's what I was kind of told. Yeah, that's kind of where this thing is.
It makes more sense because, okay, all right, let's go back to the Pavia and the kid in Indiana. It's very cut and dry. We don't think the JUCO year should count. Boom, done, right? And then the Indiana, the attorney for the kid in Indiana, well, you're going up against the Sherman Antitrust. You're going against this kid's ability to, make money off his NIL, all these, because you won't let him play. And JUCO is not the same as Division I. That's the whole argument, right? Just like Pavia. It's very cut and dry, black and white. Faison's is a big gray thing, right? Because they're trying to figure out this clock starting. The Marshall thing has been weird because of, like you said, they didn't matriculate him well through the process or through the system. So there's some stuff missing. And you can't go to court with stuff missing.
No, you can't. You just, because the judge is just going to go, well, what about, again, I made, I made a couple of analogies yesterday. One of them was, like, okay, judge is looking at, all right, you got A through F here. I see that. And you got I, J, K, L, and on. Where's G and H? Well, Your Honor, we're not really sure. Well, then why'd you come to me?
Right. Don't waste my time.
Yeah. I mean, it's great you got A through F. It's great you got I, J, K, and L. But I need G and H if you want me to rule, because G and H could be multiple things. And so, that's kind of where it is. I will also say for now that from what I was able to gather, there is optimism. And I don't want to sit here and go, so yay, maybe, but I don't think they would say, I think I would have gotten
we're not feeling good. Right.
So I feel like and we asked this of some of our beat reporter friends last week, was there any feeling that the being able to practice ruling could be looked at as something of a harbinger of what's to come? And we didn't get a whole lot of, I think so. It was more like, well, they didn't tell him no. And again, this kid for Indiana, for what it may be worth, as you try to relate them, they're not the same case, but they have a lot of similarities. The Indiana kid was told, you can't even practice, bro. You're done.
He had to go to court.
Yeah, right. You're done. Like, you don't have, that's from the NCAA. And so, again, a judge said, no. He can at least practice for 2 weeks.
Isn't that the bigger feeling, though, about the Faison thing, which you said, how's everybody feel? Well, they haven't said no yet.
Right.
Right? I mean, that's all you can really feel.
And as I told you, too, and, I do believe this personally, and I could be dead wrong. What I've been able to gather in my conversations the last couple of weeks with folks more in the know than I is that they don't feel, and I told you this morning, there's not somebody up in Indianapolis going, let's see how we can screw this kid over. I feel like they're just saying, if we had everything that y'all are saying and what we need to finish this, then, maybe he has a good, I'm not saying that's what they've been told, but that's why I think there's optimism. It's like they're making the case, but some of the evidence they need has just not been there. And maybe now they have all of that, and maybe now that will be, so who knows?
Right.
But I did have those conversations today, so I just I just wanted to share that. We'll have more on the Gamecocks throughout the afternoon. Come back, though, on the other side again. Big breaking story today. Michigan has been punished primarily for the sign stealing scandal. There's been a few recruiting things in there as well. Our good friend Ben Portnoy of the Sports Business Journal covering that because it involves a lot of sports business because Michigan's going to pay a hefty fine. That and more from Ben Portnoy. Coming up. Integrated Media, the absolute best across the Midlands of South Carolina and beyond when it comes to installing your home theater system, whether you are starting from scratch, building or remodeling, or you already have a really cool home theater setup but want to go next level with today's modern equipment. Call 803-948-8327. Let Integrated Media get into the house and check it out for you. And it's not just TVs and speakers, right? It's Wi-Fi that works everywhere. Plus, they can install state-of-the-art security systems, cameras all over the place, indoors and out, and link up your thermostat and those security systems and the sound system and the TV all to one app on your phone or tablet you can control from pretty much anywhere that has an internet signal. And they're doing outdoor systems that look and sound like the indoors, but are built to be outside, even in our weather, all year long. What a great way to enjoy football and the fall. 803-948-8327. The best in home technology is Integrated Media. All right, welcome back in. Post-game show rolling on here on a Friday. Jay and Terry with you. Again, Michigan football today. Handed down some pretty significant penalties on the sign stealing scandal. A couple of recruiting violations in there as well. It's just a hamburger, say the UM fans. Our good friend Ben Portnoy joins us on the guest line now. He of the Sports Business Journal and great friend of the show. Always good to have you, and thank you for a late add to today's rundown, sir. We knew for a couple of days this was coming. What were you expecting relative to what the NCAA handed down?
Yeah, no, appreciate you guys having me. I think that we're in an interesting spot in time for an investigation like this and for the NCAA to be handing out, penalties related to something like this, because there's a lot that has been taken off the NCAA's plate, sort of on the governance investigation side, right, with the formation of the College Sports Commission and all their handling related to the House settlement and things like that. But this is obviously sort of a pretty, so it seems, and so the report that was released seems, a pretty cut and dry, sort of old-fashioned, although, newfangled way of doing it, infractions case of a school essentially cheating or, bending the rules, skirting the rules, and then not complying with investigators. That said, I think that, you look at things like what the NCAA has done in the past, right? Whether it's, vacating wins, whether it's postseason bans, things like that. I just think we're in a world where I don't know that those things are, A, enforceable, or B, that the NCAA is in a position to sort of dole those things out. I guess those are sort of the same thing. But I do think that, when you look at the fines, you look at some of the other show cause things that they've done, for years people have complained that the NCAA was penalizing sort of athletes or coaches that weren't there when some of these things happened. And I think that, a lot of people will yell and scream and say they should have been hammered, they should have gotten a postseason ban. But, I think this is actually, in a way, a more significant penalty than that on some level.
Ben, and you bring up the significant penalty on some level. Is there a penalty, and Jay and I were throwing this around, in your mind, is there ever going to be a penalty significant enough to stop people from cheating?
I was kind of thinking about this today, and I think college sports, and frankly, I think the Michigan case presents a really interesting, sort of philosophical discussion of, what's it worth doing in order to win? And I think that, look, everywhere is going to have a different appetite for that, and everywhere is going to have a different appetite for whether it's bending rules, skirting rules, or just straight up breaking them. And I think, too, college sports has inherently, for years and years and years, right, had this sort of culture of, secrecy and also skirting rules as well, right? I joke with people all the time that, people like to forget that Bear Bryant got in trouble for recruiting violations and paying players in the 50s. This is not a new issue, right?
Right.
And I think that, I think you're right. There's a real question of at what point are there penalties that actually do dissuade people from doing something? And I don't know the answer to that. And I think that, this is something that comes up as you look toward, what does college football look like 15 years from now? And, is there some kind of, whether it's, NFL-style central sort of, mothership that's overseeing all of this stuff that can actually dole things out and sort of create punishments with teeth? I don't know the answer to that. But I will say, for the people who are yelling and screaming and saying this is Michigan got off easy or whatever, listen, the fines that are going to come out of this, up to about, $35 million, I think was the number that was out there by a decent number of people. That's no joke, no matter who you are. And I think, if you're Michigan, which, certainly is one of the bigger athletic departments in America, one of the bigger bottom lines in America, et cetera, as far as these things go, you're still having to find $20.5 million to pay players. And, I'm not saying that they won't find it somewhere, but that's a pretty real and significant ramification of something like this. So I think that, a lot of us will look at it and sort of roll our eyes and say, hey, well, schools always find the money. But, that's real money for schools at a time when, everyone is looking for more revenue. And when you've already got a $20.5 million kind of math problem to solve, adding an extra $10 million a year or whatever it is, is not it does not help the cause, so to speak.
I think so. You're right. Ben Portnoy with the Sports Business Journal. Here's some clarification. The financial penalty is a $50,000 fine plus 10% of the budget for the football program. B, a fine equivalent to the anticipated loss of all postseason competition revenue sharing associated with the 25 and 26 football seasons, and a fine equivalent to the cost of 10% of the scholarships awarded in Michigan's football program for the upcoming school year. So, yeah, Ben, depending on exactly how things go for them is how much those percentages will ultimately equal. But you're right, it could eclipse $30 million. And for what it's worth, Michigan's athletic budget last year was a shade over $250 million. I mean, obviously, we all know that Michigan is a really big athletics department, so they'll weather it. But, yeah, I'm with you, Ben. It's still $30 million, and that's still a lot of money. The next part of this is interesting because it's a bunch of show causes for people that aren't coming back. Jim Harbaugh already has a 4-year show cause. They're adding 10 to it, so he can't get out of his show cause until 2038. He ain't coming back. Connor Stallions has an 8-year show cause. I don't think he's coming back either. And Sharon Moore gets a 2-year, and they added a game to him. So the rest of it seems like window dressing, right?
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of felt like that scene in The Breakfast Club where Judd Nelson's just yelling at the principal, and it's like, yeah, add another detention, add 6 more, right? And it's that's kind of Jim Harbaugh right now. Like, sure, what the heck, why not throw another show cause on there? I don't care, right? It feels a little bit like that, but you're right. I think ultimately this is not going to affect that many people that are actually going to be involved in the college football space or Michigan football specifically moving forward.
Guys, Connor Stallions one day will be the head coach of Michigan, and now he's got to wait.
That's his dream.
Have you read the manifesto, Ben?
I know.
I haven't read it yet. I've had it sitting bookmarked for a long time now. I haven't actually taken the time to read the however many hundreds of pages it is. But listen, I swear there are some things that are just only in college sports, only in college football, and this is one of those.
All right, real quick, Ben. Last couple minutes, we were talking about these different ideas of penalties and how much money, what could really hurt somebody. Do you think any time would the NCAA penalize by taking rev share money, or is that way too taboo to go after because how it sets up everything for the athletic program?
That's a good question, and I mean, look, I think that whether it's, I'm probably not covering new ground here, but at some point everyone's going to get sued for everything they try to enforce. But I do think that there is probably, I think there is something to be said of could the NCAA say, hey, instead of a instead of a penalty of a fine or whatever it is, can we say, hey, your rev share next year is actually going to be 15 million or 10 million or whatever the number is, right? Make up a number. But I do think that, and I think there's sort of some nuance to this of right, the penalty that I think Jay was reading was what 10% of scholarships that would have gone to the university's team this year, whatever that fine equates to, that's a very different thing. That when you look at how schools have been not just penalized, but how the NCAA on some level, and I'm speculating a little bit, but in the NCAA is on some level is covering its tracks of trying to avoid legal litigation or litigation over some of these things. They're not saying, hey, you actually have 10 less scholarships, right? Is it getting away from the thing of penalizing a kid that could be on scholarship, right? They're just saying, hey, Michigan at large, pay this number, whatever that is, and deal with the rest however you will. So I think that that might sound like just moving numbers around on a spreadsheet, and if I'm not being clear enough, definitely, getting in the weeds here a little bit. But I do think there is something to be said of I think the NCAA, to its credit, and I think, look, the NCAA's certainly got plenty of issues, and I'm not sitting here playing, apologist for the governing organization, but I do think that there is something that they are trying to get away from as far as actually hammering, insert kid here, the third string running back on the roster who, now all of a sudden, maybe there wasn't a scholarship for him anymore. That's what they're kind of trying to avoid.
Yeah.
And I think makes this interesting.
I think the financial part is that's what we were saying. I think that's the story here more than anything is that this is now going to be, I think, the norm is heavy financial penalties because they don't want to hurt kids that had nothing to do with it. We'll see which one of these cases is next, and if they have indeed set a precedent. Again, buddy, thank you for the short notice opportunity. Appreciate it. We'll check in with you soon.
Appreciate you, man.
Anytime. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
That's Ben Portnoy on the beat for the Sports Business Journal. And again, catch him all the time, B Portnoy 15. First win of the school year in the books for the Gamecocks. We'll discuss it on the other side as the postgame show. All right, welcome back in. 11 minutes in front of 4 o'clock here on this Friday. Jay and Terry with you. Again, Top 5 Friday. Your opinion, top 5 most popular NFL teams. We'll give you some valuations later on. Again, not who's the best right now, You don't have to say the Chiefs and the Bills or whatever. Just who you think's the 5 most popular, regardless of how they're doing. Speaking of how they're doing, they're 1-0 is how they're doing. We welcome back onto the program one of our favorites. She is Shelly Smith. I don't know why I keep forgetting. You got 6 SEC titles, right? Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
I just 6.
It's one every 4 years by average.
Well,
man.
see when you can put a ring on the second hand, then you've got
you start doing something.
Some things going on there. But the first official win of the school year for Gamecock athletics happened last night. And just how you drew it up, Coach. You go into the final 10 minutes of the match, and you have a freshman score a goal on the road. I know that's exactly what the game plan was.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I'm just glad our freshman came through and scored a tremendous goal for us. So I don't care who does it, but she stepped up great. And I obviously, we always wish we could score a little earlier. Few less gray hairs for coaching staff, but it was a great win. Honestly, Charleston did play very well and gave us a tough match as we expected, and we found a way to win. So that was the big accomplishment for sure.
Well, I saw in Maddie's release, Charleston had not lost a home match in nearly 2 years. October of 2023 was the last time they lost a match down on their pitch, and you guys had your opportunities. As you said, you wanted to score earlier, but you outshot them big time. Was that more about just maybe first game and some chemistry things, or just a terrific defensive performance from the Cougars?
Yeah, probably both. I thought we created a lot more in the second half when we figured some things out and just gelled a bit better. But honestly, a big credit to their goalkeeper who made some tremendous saves, honestly. And that happens. You're knocking and she's just stopping everything, and it can frustrate you. But credit to our girls to keep going and found their way. Mackenzie hit a rocket shot from outside the 18 to beat the keeper, and anything in close she was saving. So credit to both sides. It took one goal to make a difference, and we luckily got that.
Yeah, and I've seen that highlight. It was a belter, as they might say, across the pond, Coach. So it was a good one. Defensively, I clean sheets are things that you all. Look, any team's going to take great pride in, but Charleston only really got one good shot on you. This has been one of y'all's hallmarks. So defense ahead of schedule in terms of how you feel about what they did last night.
Yeah, well, I think the defensive piece, if you look at the back four keeper, probably the most experienced piece of our team, with 2 senior leaders, 3 really, with Tina in goal, our captain, Gracie Fala, returning as, one of the top players in the country, at center back and leading the team. Micah Bryant as a senior out wide. We had Taylor Bloom come in as a senior transfer, so we've got experience back there, so that's been nice, and definitely helped with the shutout, but it really came from the whole team effort, honestly, which it usually does. And but we do take a lot of pride in our defense, and we came through, and shutouts are definitely a nice thing to achieve, especially early on. Yeah,
and again, score late on the road. Now you get your home opener at the Graveyard on Sunday. USF is coming up. Always fun crowds. What can fans anticipate this weekend?
Oh, it's going to be a very good matchup. Again, we have a lot of new faces out there. We're relying on players to step into positions that, didn't see as much time last year in the past, and freshmen to come in. So it's exciting. We'll have some great talent on display, and South Florida always does very well in their conference. They've got a lot of international players, a little different than you see on the women's side sometimes. So it's exciting, and first home game. We talk about it all the time. Our fans have been amazing, and we led the country in attendance last year. We want to do that again, so we'd love to see the fans come out. Sunday night, 6 o'clock at Stone Stadium. So USF coming up from Tampa to take on Shelly's team. Again, get more info on her season, Tony's season, and really everything. GamecocksOnline.com. One last chance for you to pump me up here and tell me, look, Arsenal women won the Champions League. The guys are going to do the same thing, right? I just do me a favor and say yes. Sure, Jay.
Thank you, Coach.
I'll expect you to call me when that happens.
Well,
and,
again, I was proud of Arsenal women. Now it's Arsenal men that need to go do it. We can get 2 Champions Leagues in a year. I'll take it. We'll see.
Happy for those women. So.
Yeah, it was a big deal. That was a big deal. Hey, Champions League, it's always fun. Hey, appreciate it. Congrats on last night. We'll holler at you here soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach.
That's Shelly Smith. Again, home opener for the Gamecock women. 6-time SEC champions under Shelly Smith.
Let's see, 30 years of a
Sunday at
program and
6.
25 years under one coach. Ain't bad, man.
And she's good.
She's doing all right.
She's good.
She's a keeper, I guess, right? She's
Winning the
gonna hang
SEC
around.
is hard. I don't care what sport it is.
They take sports rather seriously.
A little bit. It just means more, Tara. That's what
right.
they say. Hour 2 is coming up. All right, again, I've told you many times about Griffin Pools and Spas, and you can easily picture what it means to build a swimming pool in your backyard, right? If you have a yard right now without a pool, then you can envision what it looks like with a pool. All right, let's say you've already got that pool built now, or you've had one for a long time. See, Griffin doesn't just build them. They help you maintain them for years and years and years. Pool and spa repair, they've been doing that the whole time. Essential maintenance, new technologies. If you've got some things that just need to be modernized, they can get it for you. Equipment upgrades, maybe that pump and filter system's just keeping that water kind of cloudy. And even though you're doing the right things from a chemical perspective, it's just not cutting the mustard. They can get that done for you. Vinyl liner replacement, safety covers to keep the little ones and pets even safer. And they can also analyze your water to make sure that it is exactly the way you need it to be all the time. You can check them out just steps away from the Lake Murray Dam. Call them up, 803-957-2121, and visit griffinpoolsandspas.com. All right, 4 o'clock on a Friday. Welcome back in. Post-game show rolling on from downtown Columbia's Herndon Chevy Studios along with Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phillips. Appreciate you being with us. It's a Top 5 Friday. A little bit later on, we'll get into some NFL stuff, go over the weekend, if you care about the preseason. I mean, I don't, but I'll at least throw a little bit in there. But earlier this week, the latest NFL franchise valuations were published, and so it prompted us today to throw it. Not that the price of a franchise equates with popularity, because there was a couple of them. And I was like, huh, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But top 5 most popular NFL teams. And this is your opinion. Like I said, not who you're predicting to be the 5 best teams this year in the NFL or who you think the current just 5 best franchises are in terms of what they've done the last few years. I mean, if you want to put the Chiefs and Eagles in there, then have at it, and you might not be wrong. No wrong answers here unless you say Jacksonville.
Yeah. Or Carolina.
Or the Panthers.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting? Because I think Jacksonville's a little bit closer than Atlanta. It's not far in that vicinity. The 3 closest NFL franchises to us, Carolina, Atlanta, Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Could you get 3 worse?
I don't know. Is Jacksonville's? I'd have to do let's do the mileage on that. I don't know.
I think Atlanta's closer.
Yeah.
Because Atlanta's, 3 hours? We just did this.
Atlanta's like, it's like 210 miles.
And Jacksonville's, 4? 3.5?
It's like 3.5.
So
it
Atlanta's
depends.
a little closer.
It depends. By the way, I was glad to see that the state of South Carolina announced an I-95 widening project yesterday.
I'm very happy for that.
Well, that's the good news. You want the bad news?
Yeah, I know.
It's only 10 miles.
I know.
And it's going to take 5 years.
So 5 years, so 2 miles a year.
I mean,
yeah, I'm with you.
You know,
I'm like, that's great, but
that's good. 10 miles.
Can they put another 2 lanes on I-20?
Well, what
going
they
towards Florence?
Listen. If you could have me pick what this state need, well, that 95 one needs to be done.
Oh, absolutely.
But and again, north on 95. Listen, all of 95 through South Carolina should probably go to 3 lanes. But anyway, what needs to be done is I-26 all the way to Charleston. Needs to be 6 across at least.
Won't argue that.
I mean,
the way that traffic
there
is.
are some days, man, when it's just like stupid. It's like, come on, just what are we doing here? But I did. I was glad to see that. So 95. If you didn't see this, 95 from the Georgia border, 10 miles into South Carolina, both directions will be widened over the course of the next 5 years.
Hey, that's good. Anytime you widen a highway and add lanes like that, I'm good with that.
That's a start.
By the way, North Carolina is just one big construction zone.
Yeah. Oh, man. I was just up in Asheville, and finally most of what's being done around the airport and into the city is complete. And so what do? They started another one.
Sure they did. Sure they did.
And they started it right at that 2640 junction, and I'm like, come on, y'all. Why didn't you just do it? But I know now, too, in all seriousness, they've had to pause a few things here and there because obviously the hurricane messed up 40 real bad, and so they had to get that fixed, and I'm glad that's being done. But I'm a selfish driver. Also, real quick, apropos of nothing, but I like to talk about these kind of things. I saw that in Louisiana, and I was like, excuse my language here, I was like, hells yes. The state of Louisiana just passed a law that makes it illegal to drive less or like at the speed limit in the left lane on the interstate. Like, I forget the exact wording, but it's like if you're in the left lane and you're not going at least the speed limit,
move over.
Yeah, and again, why do people do that anyway? Like and there's somebody out there. Listen, I don't usually like to do this, but I'm going to. There's somebody out there right now is like, I drive in the left lane all the time, and I just go at whatever speed. Stop.
Move over.
You're doing it wrong, and you're making everybody else angry. So if I don't mean to be ugly to you, but I kind of do.
Yeah, well, it depends. If you were driving behind them or near them, you'd be ugly to them. Well, there are some states where that left lane is only used for passing.
Yeah, now like in Atlanta, they got that
the HOV.
The HOV lane. Yeah, and but it's only for 10 miles.
Right, I'm gonna tell you what.
I still see people in it that are like not supposed to be there. Only one person because it's supposed to be multiple people.
Yeah. Well, when I worked in Seattle, they had the HOV lanes, and it was for multiple people, carpool lane they called it.
Yeah.
And they would actually call and report you and your license plate.
Well, and some have
Seattle.
cameras and whatever, and I don't want to live in a nanny state
No,
too much,
no.
although, I suppose everybody does to some degree
I'll
these
say
days
this,
with cameras
man.
everywhere. But
As much as I hate the DMV drivers are the worst ever in the history of mankind, they have these Easy Pass lanes. Yeah. The Easy Pass lanes are phenomenal.
yeah.
You jump in those, man, and you can fly around traffic.
You know what's not phenomenal? Getting in one when you didn't realize you couldn't.
I know.
And somebody, me, may have
Did
done
you
that.
do that?
I did. What I thought the first time, I was like, can't you just get in this thing and like pay for it later?
Is that the way this works?
Yeah.
man?
And so I was ticketed.
How much was it?
Electronically. Well, I don't know. Basically, it was like the cost of what I would have paid to just have
There you
one.
go. That's fine.
I think it was like $40.
Yeah, it's fine. That's worth it.
But you know what? Considering that 95 was at an absolute standstill there around like not Manassas, Quantico.
Oh, yeah, bro. Absolutely jump in.
I was like,
that
what?
is worth it.
I
That
don't
is
know. I'm not
absolutely
doing
worth it. right, we got
Louisiana's
both.
left lane law, hold on, restricts the use of the left lane on multi-lane highways to passing and left turns. Driving in the left lane while not actively passing or turning left or driving slower than traffic in the right lane is prohibited and results in fines. Penalties escalate with
Good.
repeat offenses, potentially including jail time for a
Nice.
third offense.
Nice.
So get in the right lane.
Don't end up like an episode of Oz. Stay in the right lane.
It's $150 for a first offense, $250 for a second offense, $350
they
for a
ain't messing
third,
around.
And the third could result in jail time of up to 30 days.
That's some dough.
so-
you ain't messing around.
You know,
Louisiana. way
I'm
to
going to
go.
clap for Louisiana right
You know what I
now.
like that they do around New Orleans? They take a police car and just park it with nobody in it.
Yeah,
Slows everybody down.
yeah.
It's hilarious.
So-
Unless you know the game.
Put a dummy in there with
Yeah,
sunglasses.
exactly.
I've seen that.
Like the one from Airplane.
Yeah, right.
You know, the
Well, no,
co-pilot.
not that one.
Not the co-pilot from Airplane.
Not the one that smiles.
Why is he smiling, Jay? I forget.
You have to watch the movie, too.
Ball games, Jay. Ball
Yeah.
games.
By the way, that's coming up on 50 years old.
I know. It was. I told you. I don't know if I told you. It was a couple months ago. I was in the office
Yes.
on a weekend and had the TV on, and there wasn't nothing worth the crap in sports. I'm flipping around, and one of the movie channels had Airplane on. So you know what I had to do?
Well, you always watch.
I had to watch it, and I'm giggling out loud. I'm just giggling out loud.
It's a big thing with wings. It looks like a big Tylenol. I could keep going, so I'll stop. ESPN has put out their bowl projections, including the college football playoff. They've got Clemson as one of the top four. They do not have South Carolina in the playoff. In fact, they don't really have South Carolina in places that most Carolina fans want them to be. They had two projections. One was South Carolina in the ReliaQuest Bowl. That's the former Outback Bowl. Taking on Indiana. Or in the Duke's Mayo Bowl against Louisville.
Oh,
So
that's like a 7-win season.
well,
man.
I think the Mayo Bowl, that's more of a 6-6 kind of bowl, right? Maybe a 7-5. I don't know about that, depending on Carolina's
that's not
compatriots at that record.
That's not.
So I would even think the
good.
ReliaQuest Bowl might mean 8-4.
I was getting ready to say 8 wins tops in a ReliaQuest, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
So y'all think that's
Did you look at the college football playoff quarters? The teams that are in, like Oregon is an 8, Texas, Georgia, Clemson, LSU was picked, Bama, Penn State, Notre Dame, Ohio State. Those are teams that are in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Those type of squads.
yeah, and that none of the teams.
None of it's a surprise.
None of the teams they put in their
Miami,
projected playoff is a surprise. Miami
Boise
might be the
State.
one. Again,
I think Miami's going to tumble.
we already predicted, you and I did, I think, that
Yep.
Miami would be the team in the top 10 preseason that doesn't get ranked.
Yeah, most of these teams are all cut and dry. Pretty much the same crews being picked here. But yeah, that ReliaQuest at tops the ceiling to me is an 8-win team, and Mayo Bowl.
And let me
Oh.
make sure, because it was Kyle Bonagura and Mark Schlabach. I'm going to see which one picked which. I wrote them down, but forgot to write down which one picked. I want to say it was Schlabach that picked Tampa, but I'm double-checking right now, so y'all give me a second here. Duke's Mayo was Yeah, Bonagura. So, yeah, Schleybaugh picked Outback for Lion Quest. I mean, look, you need to get to a bowl game. I'm going to say this, and I hope somebody doesn't take this the wrong way. If you go to the Duke's Mayo Bowl this year, that's going to be a disappointment for a lot of people.
Yeah, a big disappointment.
That's going to be a disappointment.
If you end up there with a 6 or 7 win season, that's a huge disappointment.
And I would think most of you probably feel that if South Carolina were to land in Tampa again, that for considering where you're projected and what you did last year, you probably would see that as a bit of a step backwards. Maybe a really big step sideways and not too far backwards, but nevertheless.
How about a half step backwards?
Something
Is that fair?
Yeah. Because it's still a New Year's Day game and all that. It's it's.
I guess it depends on how this goes.
I'd like to see Carolina play Kurt Signetti in Indiana.
Yeah. Well, would Kurt Signetti not want to play a game like that because of his strength of schedule?
Ooh, he doesn't get to choose.
And he can't back out of that. Maybe can he buy out South Carolina and play like the Indiana School for Trucking or something?
Wouldn't that be funny? Yeah, we don't want to play that game.
We want to buy it out.
Yeah.
Can we play Akron?
So there you go. Again, look, it's projections after a couple of weeks of camp, so nothing to really fret about.
Yeah, what do we say? What cures all these things?
Win.
Jay?
Just go win your games.
W's.
It's that easy. Right? Yeah, all you got to do is win.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That fixes all this.
All right, we'll come back. Top 5 Friday, most popular NFL teams. Your before we hit a break, let me read you a few that we've got. We got a lot on Twitter here. John says Cowboys, Steelers, Raiders, Packers, Chiefs / Taylor Swift. Fair.
So good.
JW says Dallas, Washington, Green Bay, Denver. He puts Denver in parentheses. I'm told their following is underrated. Well, I'm part of their following, and I guess I'm underrated. And Buffalo. He puts Buffalo 5th. I mean, Denver does have a popular. They're the whole Mountain Time Zone cheers for the Broncos.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah.
That's they got one whole swath of the country from border
the smallest
to border.
time zone in the country.
Population wise for sure. And Josh, I got a lot more here, but I'll get one more. Josh says Cowboys, Packers, Steelers, Niners, Washington Redskins / Commanders.
Run that one by me again because that one's interesting.
Cowboys, Packers, Steelers, Niners, Redskins / Commanders.
That's not a bad 5 right there. Because again, people forget something. Before Washington hooked up with that guy as the owner, and then ended up in the wilderness for 20 years.
Yep.
They were a phenomenal franchise for decades.
Yeah.
Won Super Bowls, 3 different Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Joe Gibbs, a Hall of Fame head coach.
Yeah.
Before that, George Allen with the Over the Hill Gang or whatever. Washington was something for a period of time, and then Daniel Snyder ran him into a brick wall.
Yes.
And they became non-existent.
Ran him into a brick wall, into the ground. The wall fell on top of them.
It was like Coyote Roadrunner.
Yeah.
When the anvil hits him, and then all of a sudden
he drives through a hole. Yeah. Then the thing he was doing falls on top of him again.
That's what Daniel Snyder did to
Washington. Terrible.
It's
It's terrible.
but they were at one time a brand.
Oh, sure.
They really were. So that's an interesting 5. And then the 49ers obviously have been massively successful for the most part since the early 80s.
Yeah.
There have been some pockets of, but for the most part, they have been above average to excellent franchise. So that's an interesting 5 right there.
All right, so we got a few. I'll start to tally some of these up during the break. And then Terry has done research to see what corroborates.
Compared to last year's TV ratings for all the NFL teams, regular season average rating for the whole year.
Yeah, and we'll get some of those valuations for you, too, because, again, Jarrah, they may not be any good anymore, but Jarrah could sell them for a lot.
Yeah.
You're listening to the postgame show. All right, 19 minutes after 4 o'clock here on this Friday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. Don't forget, a week from today is our Summer Golf Classic. Still a few slots left. Tee time is 9 o'clock. We'll have breakfast for you. Mimosa bar from Saki's Wine and Spirits. Firehouse for lunch. Prizes. Golf gun. $400 a team. All brought to you by Krager Showrooms down in the Vista. 803-755-2000. Press 2 after you dial that number.
You ever shot a golf gun?
I have not. I've heard you talk about it.
It's phenomenal.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I don't own weapons in general.
Right.
I mean, guns. I mean, I own nunchucks. That's another story. But
Hard to use.
I've never, I shot a BB gun. I had a BB gun when I was a kid, so I haven't shot guns in a long time.
I haven't in a
golf
while
gun is
either.
cool.
I mean, I used to go hunt a lot with my granddad. When my granddad died, I think it was more about being with my granddad.
Yeah,
And then my buddy's like, "Hey, come on!" But so much of good hunting is in the fall. I'm like, guys, I
got stuff to do.
I got a job.
Busy.
I wish. Sorry.
This golf gun is cool, man.
Yeah,
I mean, it really is. You fire it, and you just watch. I mean, the drive can go. I mean, stupid distance, and you watch it shoot out of the barrel, and it just flies. I honestly, I could just sit there and shoot the golf gun for hours.
Oh, maybe I'll do that next
Venture
week.
on over before you leave on next Friday and
We'll see.
fire off the golf gun.
We will. I promise.
Oh, by the way, real quick, proceeds go to Camp Discovery.
Yeah, there you go. I will get to the NFL thing, but I do have breaking news.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised, maybe disappointed. Michigan, in just the last, let's say, 20 minutes, has put out a press release saying they will appeal today's, Committee on Infractions punishments. Quote, "We appreciate the work of the Committee on Infractions, but respectfully, in a number of instances, the decision makes fundamental errors in interpreting NCAA bylaws, and it includes a number of conclusions that are directly contrary to the evidence or lack of evidence in the record. We will appeal this decision to ensure a fair result, and we will consider all other options." Then A.D. Ward Manuel put out his own statement. That was just a athletic department statement. This is a second one from, again, A.D. Ward Manuel. Quote, "It is never our intent to be in a position where we are accused of any rule violations. I fully support Coach Sharon Moore, our student athletes, and staff as they prepare for the season ahead. I appreciate Coach Moore's continued commitment to ensuring his program operates in compliance with applicable rules. I acknowledge the Committee on Infractions' decision to not penalize our current student athletes by eliminating postseason opportunities. However, a postseason ban should never have been a consideration in this case. I fully support the university's decision to pursue an appeal. Coach Moore and I will not have any further comment." End quote from athletics director.
What would Ward Manuel say? I disagree with us appealing. I think we should just suck it up and take it.
Well, he
Of
didn't
course
have to
wouldn't
say anything.
that, right?
I don't know if he was forced into saying anything.
Probably. Wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, look, I will say this on the surface. This is just like almost any legal decision.
Yeah, sure.
The system affords you an appeal.
So you do and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's just what you do, right?
So I don't really have a problem with that. I do think, here's the thing, the vast majority of people today, and I'll be careful not to say just social media reaction, because I've read, I've read all the big national writers today, Andy Staples and Bruce Feldman, and I mean, I could go on, all those guys today have all had something to say about it. Stuart Mandel, Ari Wasserman. And by and large, the general feeling, the consensus general feeling is, hey, if all you got to really do is pay money, and that's like the extra cost of winning that championship, and nobody else is ever coming back anyway,
right?
Then, because the only other thing that really got added, y'all, and I didn't get to this earlier, was so this year, Sharon Moore is going to be suspended for their third and fourth games. I forget. Mm-hmm. One of them's a conference game, one of them's not.
Right.
Most of you probably know Sharon Moore was a a really good football player at Oklahoma, and Michigan goes to Oklahoma in week 2.
He wants to be there.
And he wants to be there, and everybody wants him to be there. And so Michigan self-imposed weeks 3 and 4. Today, the committee added the opener of next season to that list. That's the other. That's the only other part for him. They do have some. They have a lowering of official visits, and I think a lowering of like a communication one. A longer. Basically, Michigan's going to have a longer dead period next year.
Yeah.
So it's less visits and a longer dead period.
Right.
And that's again, and maybe around $30 to $35 million payable over a 2-year period.
So basically, you're paying money-wise $35 million for your championship.
Yeah. So I don't know what they want to get. Do they want to get the financial penalty lowered? Sure. Do they want to get the recruiting part?
Yeah.
All of it. All of it. Right. But in the grand scheme, I mean, listen. Some of the things, and I threw out a tweet about this earlier. Some of the things that the committee has evidence on, because the evidence is Jim Harbaugh wouldn't support any of this. And there was evidence and testimony from Michigan staffers on how the football team, and my words here, basically gave compliance the middle finger.
Oh, sure they do.
Every day of the week. Yeah. And you know who runs both the football program and the compliance department? Ward Manuel. And now here's Ward Manuel saying, hey, this isn't fair. It's like, bro, your football coach
who you couldn't control.
Yeah. And you were never going to.
No.
You were never going to.
Jim Harbaugh laughed at Ward Manuel.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And he showed you what he thought of Ward Manuel.
What does Howard Stern call the boss in pig vomit?
Pig vomit.
That's basically that's how Harbaugh was Stern and Ward Manuel's pig vomit.
Absolutely.
And it drove that guy nuts.
Oh, because he couldn't do anything about it. That was Paul Giamatti in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Pig vomit.
That's how Harbaugh treated him, and that's how he treated everybody.
Right.
But they have testimony. The point is, to your point too, there's testimony. Like, hey, Ward, you didn't direct athletics.
No.
Because you were scared to death that this guy was going to bolt on you.
Yeah, because you knew he ran you.
Yeah.
You had no authority, or like my man Cartman would say, authority over Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
You just didn't.
So it's again.
And by the way, no fan cares.
No.
Because you won a championship.
Oh, hell no.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
If fans are saying, we got to pay $15, $16 million a year for the next 2 years, and we got a title, and we beat Ohio State 4 times in a row,
we'll take it. We don't care.
They could not care less.
You don't care.
So, but again, to be fair, I suppose.
What the hell was that? To be
you get an appeal, so you may as well take it.
Video saw the bitter beer face you just gave about
because again they say we want a fair result. I'm like, dude.
I think you know what you want to do? You ever had that buddy? You pull him aside and go, "Shut up. Just stop talking right now."
It's like, hey man, like you were running your mouth down in 5 points. I might have seen this happen one time. You're running your mouth. The cop says like, "Hey, son," and it wasn't me.
Sure.
Why don't you time to head on home, right? And then you get about 10 steps from the cop. This part didn't happen, but I did one time have a buddy like, hey man, might be
time to go.
Time to go. But instead, and again, I promise this did not happen. This is now me adding it up. You turn like 10 steps away from the cop. Like, screw you, pig.
So when you did that, what happened?
Yeah, then you got trouble. That feels like kind of what they're doing here. It's like y'all let us off.
Yeah, you're getting
with a lot less than we could have gotten based on what the rules allow.
Basically, you're paying $15 million for 2 years for your championship.
And again, you got boosters that'll help you cover the cost.
You got it. And the head coach he gets an extra game in the next year against Northwestern Montana Tech.
Whoever. Yeah, you know what? I'll try to find out. Honest to God, I don't know. I'll try to find out who Michigan opens with.
Yeah, I get the whole appeal process, blah blah blah, but man, you got over.
Yeah. But anyway, so there you go. So breaking news within the last 20, 25 minutes, Michigan will appeal. Not necessarily a surprise, but considering what could have been and what was, they want even less. Here's hoping that whoever the appellate panel is goes. Pff.
Right. Exactly.
So
It's doing what we just did.
Yeah.
Hey, dudes, seriously,
Hey, seriously.
you got over.
Like, come on, what are we doing?
Come
here?
on.
What are we doing here? Yeah, I tell you what, we won't do. We won't penalize Sharon next year. How's that?
You can sit out the
we'll
first
cut
half.
we'll cut Harbaugh's show calls down to 8 years.
Right, or Stallions.
You know. All right. We will get into the NFL stuff and more Top 5 Friday on the other side.
You know, we've been talking about CHW cabinetry on this show here lately because if you need cabinets, and it might not be the kitchen, I mean, anywhere in the house, you need cabinets, you got to call CHW Cabinetry. 803-520-6837. Star and the crew will come out, see what you need done. They will then do, and this is so cool, a photorealistic rendering to show you exactly how this new space is going to look. They will make sure everyone's on the same page and you are happy. Again, 803-520-6837. Make that call. They'll bring you in step by step through this process. They will hold your hand through it, make you happy. They made Jen Jensen happy, and no one makes Jen Jensen happy. Again, 803-520-6837. Call CHW Cabinetry. Sit down with them. Go over your plan. They'll come out, do those fantastic photorealistic renderings, and they will make you happy with the cabinets you always want. CHW Cabinetry, 803-520-6837. Time to get our first check on the traffic, see what's going on the roads. Right now, a couple of things going on. An accident, Laurel Road at US 1 in Lexington. Stop and go traffic, West Columbia. I-26 westbound between Augusta Road and St. Andrews Road. Besides that, our usual bevy of construction, Hugie and I-26 and I-126. Also, I-26 between Bush River Road and Old Sandy Run Road as well.
All right, welcome back in. 25 in front of 5 on this Friday afternoon. Be safe on the roads out there. It's hot, too. Got hot again. Told y'all.
I'll pull the Dean Ford line. Well, boy, it's August. What the hell you expect?
I just feel for maybe there's some freshmen and their families who were
North
down here
Dakota?
moving in. Yeah, maybe not North Dakota, but even from Connecticut or upstate New York.
Yeah, it's a little.
And they came down last week and they were like, wow, they take Columbia.
This ain't that bad.
It's also hot. It was only 82. Now it's 93.
Yepper.
Yeah, so this is where we're as one of my girls used to say, this is where we're supposed to be this time. So, Top 5 Friday. In your opinion, top 5 most popular NFL teams in the country. Again, not based on how they're doing right now, just what you think. And no real
Popularity.
Again, no real wrong answers.
This isn't one-loss records, Super Bowls. It's just popular teams in the country.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking at.
And we've done a few. I'll get you a couple more here real quick if my interwebs will cooperate. John says Cowboys, Steelers, Packers, Patriots, Raiders.
That one's pretty good.
Yeah,
right there.
That's not.
That's pretty good.
I might have a few of those. Let's see. Hang on, I got a couple more. Steven says Cowboys, Steelers, Packers, Bears, Commanders.
Not bad.
Okay,
not bad.
Robert, Cowboys, Chiefs, Packers, Steelers, Patriots. Yeah, I think that's
not
actually
bad.
pretty good.
Not bad at all.
Richard, Cowboys, Chiefs, Steelers, Raiders, Packers.
Okay.
That might be a ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good 5 right there.
And another Steven says Cowboys, Raiders, Steelers, Bears, Patriots. All right, there you go. All right, good stuff. We got a few more on the text line. We'll get to in a minute. I got a few more on Twitter. I can't get to all of them right now, but we were prompted by Sportico putting out their valuations this week of NFL franchises. And remember, I would honestly tell you that a lot of these clubs could probably sell for more. Here's what's crazy. All right, there's as you all know, there are 32 NFL franchises. One of them can't be sold but has a value. That's Green Bay. Every NFL franchise is now valued at least $5.5 billion. The Bengals are the lowest value. All you got to do is spend a little, and you could be up there because you'd be going to Super Bowls. The Bengals are the lowest at 5.5. Just ahead of them are the Jags at 5.57, Saints 5.63, Cardinals 5.66, Colts 5.72, Panthers 5.76. Surprised the Panthers are more valuable than the Colts.
Think about this for a minute. Look at the bottom of this. You're going to get to some interesting teams in a second. The only team out of that crew who has been to a Super Bowl in recent years is Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at that crew, too.
Well, Jags still haven't been to a Super Bowl, right?
It's been a while since New Orleans. It's been a minute.
So what are we looking at? Jags, Lions, Browns in their current iteration.
Well, Browns never
technically. Again, I am one. I'm a snarky realist, and the Ravens are the old Browns.
So the old Browns never made a Super Bowl.
No, the old Browns, but the Ravens of course,
made two,
have won a couple.
Yeah, won a couple.
But yeah, the Cleveland Browns in whatever iteration have never been. And yet Cleveland is worth $6.1 billion. Why? Stadium?
It is a newer stadium. I guess Truck Stop Jimmy's pockets are pretty deep from all the people he's ripped off over the years.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that's interesting to me is
the
Detroit.
Browns should be last.
Detroit is sitting at 25th. That's a top 15 TV market. In a huge city.
Big stadium, good stadium. It's older,
it's 20 years
but
old.
it's
Remember you and I looked this up.
But it's still nice. I just think that might be a reflection, and I don't mean this in an ugly way. That might be a reflection of Detroit.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of people that have left.
The population has gone down.
The jobs in Detroit are leaving Detroit.
The motor vehicle industry isn't what it used to be.
Yeah, and it's not just all leaving America. Just there's a lot more automotive jobs down south.
Remember, Detroit was very industrial for a long time. And also, I mean, the Ford family is just a football family. They're not bazillionaires. I mean, they got lots of loot, but...
Well, they used to make cars.
Yeah, they kind of know about cars.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, we're spitballing, but I'm just so surprised Detroit is sitting at 25th in team value.
That is.
It's surprising.
Yeah.
The other ones don't surprise me. Buffalo is a very small market in a small city.
Yeah.
Baltimore is a top 30 market, but not a gigantic market. Cleveland's not gigantic. Nashville isn't gigantic. The Chargers, they're not an LA team. They're Chargers. Most of LA doesn't even know the Chargers are there.
No.
So a lot of these teams don't surprise me, but Detroit, that does make me go, huh?
Yeah.
Especially when I tell you this, sir.
Okay.
The top 10, we'll get to this in a minute. The top 10 in ratings and TV and value, 5 of them are on both lists.
Okay.
That much I'll tell you. Keep going.
Okay.
I'll keep going with your list.
Let's see. Vikings 6.2, Bucks 6.47, Packers again can't be sold, but they are valued at 6.48. Steelers. Maybe this was the biggest surprise to me. I'm not kidding. Steelers 6.51
and 17th in value.
Yeah. Because the Steelers are absolutely, from all the metrics that I've ever looked at, the Steelers are one of the top 3 in terms of popularity, but they still play in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And that stadium is not great.
It used to be Heinz, whatever it's called now. It used to be the big ketchup bottle.
Yeah.
What the hell it's called now.
I don't know what it is now, but it's not great. It's good.
And again, Rooney family, just football people.
They are just a football
Just
fan.
football
And I say just, that's not, I don't want to, they're a pretty good football fan.
They ain't working part-time at Sonic. But they're just football people.
Chiefs, 6.53. Again,
Hunt family again.
Very old stadium, not a big city. And currently, so good that their value has probably increased a lot because of who they are.
But here's the point again. Here's the 16th most valuable franchise in the NFL. And for the last 5 to 7 years, the best franchise in the NFL. You know why? Salary cap, salary floor.
Yeah. Sure. Broncos, 6.55. Seattle, 6.59. Falcons, 7.05. Now, that's
a big city, my friend.
That's a big city. It's a big stadium. The team rarely competes.
Artie's got some money.
But he's doing all right. Texans, 7.17. That's a little bit surprising as well. But again, big city, nice stadium. Bears, 7.45.
Should be higher.
And I think they will be here soon.
Right
Washington, 7.47. Raiders, 7.9. Again, moved them to Vegas, built a beautiful ballpark. Jets, 8.11. They're number 8. But again, they're in the metro. I get it. Dolphins, 8.25. Eagles, 8.43. Niners, 8.6. Pats, 8.76. And then the big 3, y'all. There's a big gap between the Pats at 4 and the big 3. Who haven't you heard, you're asking? New York Giants, $10.25 billion. L.A. Rams, now in L.A., obviously, beautiful ballpark that they built. The Cronkies built that.
Number 2 media market.
10.43. And Jera has his Cowboys now valued at $12.8 billion.
It's not that close between 1 and 2.
No. I mean, $2.4 billion separates the Cowboys from the Rams.
Yeah, crazy.
So there you go.
Real quick, TV ratings.
Yeah.
Number 10, San Francisco 49ers, also in the top 10 in value.
Yep.
Number 9, Chicago Bears, also in top 10 in value.
Yep, big city.
Number 8, New York Giants, also top 10 in value.
Yep, not good.
Number 7, no, I'm sorry, we're in 10. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. 10 is Philadelphia. The Eagles are in both.
Okay.
Both lists. Number 9, Buffalo.
Yep.
Number 8, San Francisco in TV ratings.
Okay.
Number 7, Chicago.
Yep.
Number 6, the New York Giants.
Yep.
Number 5, Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
Number 4, Green Bay Packers.
Yep.
Number 3, Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
Number 2, Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Number 1, hold on, sir, Detroit Lions.
Well,
they were a fun team to watch
they've been
last
fun
year,
to
Jay.
watch.
They were fun to watch.
That's fair. And they were on national television a lot.
Ready the bottom because we got to get the break. Panthers at 32.
Yeah.
We'd lower if there was more spots. Titans at 31. Jags at 30. Cardinals at 29. Raiders at 28. And Patriots at 27.
Raiders. That might change coming up here soon. We'll see. But there you go. All right, more Top 5 Friday. Again, what do you think? Top 5 most popular NFL franchises. That's our Top 5 Friday. Continue that, plus Jay or Nay on the other side. All right, welcome back in. Final few minutes of our second hour. Coming up, top of the hour headlines. More on what's going on around the Michigan situation. Some Gamecock news to get to as well. And our buddy Jordan Kay on the beat for the State Paper will join us for our Gamecock Notebook segment coming up around 5:15. In the meantime, it's game show music time. Which is really the only reason I come to work anymore.
It's the best part of the day.
Sure. A little J or nay time here.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the Athletic put out their hot seat rankings in college football. And we always talk about the SEC, so we're throwing the SEC off the board today.
Okay.
Let's hit coaches around the country, not in the SEC. J or nay on how hot should their backsides be?
Okay.
Trent Dilfer at UAB, 7-17 in 2 years. J or nay on the hot seat?
Yeah, Jay, I guess, because that's not good. It's 2 years. Here's what. It's not about Trent. Here's what bothers me. That program got decent a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
And Bear Bryant's son led the charge to basically have that program killed. And then there was enough of an uproar that he didn't basically like the fact that they were encroaching, as if that was ever going to happen.
Right.
And then they revived it, but it's been a struggle to kind of get it. They had a pocket or two here or there where they were okay again, but so I just don't know if that's a sustainable kind of thing. So it's a hot seat, but how hard a job? And is Trent really good for the job?
That's my thing. You just bring him in because he's Trent Dilfer.
Yeah,
I don't know. All right, here's one for you. Mike Gundy, Jay or nay?
I mean, Jay, because even if you're, a legacy kind of guy and you've basically been on campus your entire adult life, you can't go over, man. They got too many resources, and you can't go over. And now this year they won't go over again, but I mean, you probably need to get them back to a bowl game.
Not only were they 0 for last year, but they were one of the favorites in the Big 12 going into the season. Think about this. Before last year,
they're the reason that there wasn't a media poll this year.
Right. Gundy, 18 straight bowl games before last year. Ready for this? 2 Fiestas, a Sugar, 2 Cottons, 169 and 88, and they hit face first. They face planted.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, was there something else at work there? Because it was wretchedly bad.
Yeah.
Remember
he gave money back?
Yeah. Restructured his deal. Has a whole new defensive staff.
It's craziness.
But yeah.
So you're Jay.
That's Jay. Yeah.
All right. Our boy Brett Pry at Virginia Tech, 16 and 21. Ready for this stat? 1-12 in games decided by 7 points or less.
Yeah, they've been and that's just it. That's a lot of games that have been decided, by
13 of 37
by close margins. So, Jay, and I think they look at this South Carolina game as a real opportunity, man.
Well, the Gamecocks, you can't mess around with these guys. You're better on paper, but don't screw around.
Carolina's still favored by 8.
Yep. All right, Scott Satterfield at Cincinnati. Let me give you a little numbers here with him. 8-16 at Cincinnati in 2 years. Satterfield was really good at App State.
He was.
Went to Louisville, and then went to Cincinnati. And since he left App State, 33 and 40, 19 and 32 in conference since he left Appalachian State.
Here again, is it all? Did he forget how to coach? No. The resources at App State, in a relative sense, are better than they are at both Louisville and certainly Cincinnati. That Cincinnati job's not a good job, man. I mean, some guys have overachieved there. Don't get me wrong, but that now that you are in big time, I think Cincinnati understands. To me, I've said, I take it however you want to, whoever you might be. I think there are regrets within the Big 12 on having Cincinnati come. You had to do it when you did it. I get it.
Right. You took the market side.
Yeah.
You took the city side. You didn't take the football program.
But that school is not able to compete talent-wise with a lot of the schools that are in the Big 12 that know what they're doing, man.
It's tough. University of Cincinnati, it's tough. Look, Luke Fickell and obviously with Brian Kelly, they both did wow there. But that's the resources and all. It
was a different time.
Yeah,
when they did it, it was a different time, and it's hard, man. I mean, Baylor, TCU, Texas Tech, Houston, K-State, Iowa State. These are programs that are way more established than you.
So you're Jay or naying on Satterfield?
Jay, but again, I think their expectations may also be a little high, but he's a good football coach.
Here's another one on the list close to our heart. Mike Loxley, Maryland. 3 straight winning seasons, 3 straight bowl trips last year, 3-9, 0-9 in league, and admitted he lost the locker room over NIL money.
Yeah, I think the school has to help Mike. I think he's a guy who knows that area. There's tons of talent there, but you just can't keep it.
He's a great recruiter.
He is. I think the school needs to help him. I think his seat.
It's a basketball school, man.
I'm going to call that one. I'm going to say nay. It's warm, but everybody says warm. But
you got to do better than 3-9.
You
this
do,
year,
and I think they will.
Yeah,
I hope so, because a lot
right
of
now they care about
anymore,
Buzz Williams, Jay. They care about Buzz Williams and basketball.
I know. Hour 3 headlines coming up. All right, guys, we tell you about it a lot, and it's sometimes the things that you don't want to hear about or talk about, and that's when things are off with you physically these days. Again, bedroom, boardroom, weight room, whatever room, out in the yard, just, brain fog. There are a lot of things that happen as guys get older, and it's not uncommon. But for guys individually, it's very much about them. And sometimes you don't want to go to the doctor. Sometimes you're embarrassed to talk about some of the things that are happening to you. Don't be that guy. Get to feeling better when you see Dr. Dan Balknight and his team at the men's clinic. For years, they have been experts in healthcare for men, and they're dedicated to making you feel like yourself again. You sit down with them. There's no one-size-fits-all. There's no magic pills. They will prescribe treatments that are just right for you. 803-875-MENS. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family. Call the Men's Clinic.
A few accidents. Charleston Highway near Old Dunbar Road, also Garner's Ferry near Pineview Road. I-26 eastbound, Piney Grove Road, exit 104. Smyrna Road and McGee Street as well. That's a little bit out of the way in Elgin. West Columbia and Ridgeway, some stop-and-go traffic. Stop-and-go traffic, West Columbia, I-26 westbound, Augusta Road near exit 111, St. Andrews Road, exit 105, and I-77 northbound, right before East Peach Road, exit 32. We'll get back in here, 5 o'clock news, sponsored by our Buds Integrated Media, next here on the postgame show with Jay and Terry on the game.
It is 5 o'clock news time here on this Friday. Welcome back in. It's also the final hour of the post-game show. Along with Terry Ford, I'm Jay Phillips. Start with some Gamecock women's basketball news. Coach Dawn Staley has released her ball club's final non-conference schedule. We knew the SEC slate, I think, last week. But now the non-con is officially out. They'll start by hosting Grand Canyon, Bowling Green, and Clemson. Then travel to L.A. to take on Southern California. Back home with Winthrop and Queens. Then back out west for the Players Era Championship. They'll take on Duke and either UCLA or Texas. Then travel to Louisville as part of the ACC-SEC Challenge. Come back home to host North Carolina Central and Penn State. And then right before the Christmas break, road games down in Florida at South Florida and Florida Gulf Coast. And then after Christmas, a home game with Providence. And then an interesting one, they'll be traveling up to the D.C. area, or actually the Baltimore area, to take on Coppin State. Where's Coppin, Terry? That's greater Baltimore, right, where that school is, give or take?
That's downtown, my man.
Okay, right downtown? Okay.
Yeah, downtown.
So they're going to go to Coppin on Sunday, January 18th. So there is the non-con schedule for South Carolina this season. So there you go. That's out. You can get more info. And, hey, maybe you want to go see them play in L.A.
Again, man, you got to love their non-conference. They play people.
Or you might want to go see them play in Vegas.
Yeah, how cool would that be? Go hang in Vegas.
And, in fact, is that Thanksgiving? Thursday, November 27th? Is that Thanksgiving this year?
I think that is.
Man, can you imagine like a Thanksgiving buffet at some big hotel?
Yes.
Like, what's wrong with that guy? Oh, he went to the buffet.
Sir, we're closing. You've been here since noon. Let's move on. You bring your own plate. You bring your own knife, fork, and plate.
I do remember we happened to be in Vegas during our honeymoon on Easter Sunday, and we went to a buffet at the Mirage. I don't know if it can. I'm not real good at eating my money's worth at a buffet, man.
You know what I hate about it? I'll tell you what I hate about it. For me, I'll like go to like a buffet. I'll get all geeked up to go.
Yeah.
Like when I lived in Biloxi, we used to hit the casinos every now and then, and they got the big buffets, right?
Yeah.
And I was always stoked for. I mean, I ain't gonna eat all day.
Right.
I ain't gonna eat for 2 days, right? I would go. I always failed miserably.
Well,
I'd do one plate and then I'd be full.
Well, there's a funny. I know we're going to get back to sports, I promise. There's a really funny Frasier where they like Frasier and Niles and their dad Martin go on a cruise, and Frasier and Niles like haven't ever been on a cruise, I guess. And Martin's like, now listen, the buffets come at a fast clip. Watch out for your fillers, your breads, your rolls, your chips and dip. You only have so much room. But that's what he says. He does. He says the buffets come at a good clip. And I thought about that. I was like, yeah, because like the first thing it hits you with is like all these fresh baked breads, right?
Oh yeah, man.
It's like no.
It fills you up.
No. It's like when you go to the Brazilian restaurant, you know, the Brazilian steakhouse.
Yep.
Like just don't even go to that little bar where they have like all the rice and potatoes and bread. You just wait for that cat to come around with all that meat.
Yes, because the bread fills you up and you can't eat.
If you want like a little salad or some green beans or something, that's cool. But you don't need that bread.
Here's what makes me mad.
And those that little cheesy Brazilian bread. Dude, that stuff's amazing.
Dangerous. It's dangerous.
It's amazing.
So good. And
but I want to get you eat that, and you're like, I don't know. Now I can't eat any more meat
because you keep eating more. And look, for me, I love desserts. I know you're shocked by that. And when you got the desserts on the buffet, there's like 10 of them.
Yeah.
And I want to sample all of them. But once I get full, guess what I can't do?
Yeah, and you can't. So, like, if you go to a breakfast buffet or something, like, all I get is bacon.
I did that at SEC Media Days. I had the plate of bacon. It was so good.
Just give me some bacon.
It was so good, man.
I need these grits and potatoes. I love grits, potatoes, maybe some eggs. Anyway, so there you go. Somehow we got on that.
I'm glad someone's as bad as me at the buffet.
There's Dawn Staley's basketball team's non-conference schedule. Again, more details, GamecocksOnline.com. We have multiple Michigan stories to get to because there's the first big one that Michigan today was fined and punished by the NCAA's Committee on Infractions for 11 different violations, 6 of them level 1, the highest level. A couple things were dismissed from some former staffers. Here's what Michigan gets. 4 years of probation, a $50,000 fine, plus 10% of the budget of the football program. And then a fine that's equivalent to the anticipated loss of all postseason competition revenue sharing associated with the 25 and 26 football seasons. And a fine equivalent to the cost of 10% of the scholarships in Michigan's football program for the coming school year. There's also a 25% reduction in football official visits during the coming school year and a 14-week prohibition on recruiting communications in the football program during the probation period. So basically, they're going to extend over the 4-year period. They will extend Michigan's dead periods a little bit every year. All right, that's what that one basically means. Connor Stallions gets an 8-year show cause. I'll explain that in a minute. Jim Harbaugh gets a 10-year show cause added to his 4-year show cause. And former staffer Denard Robinson gets a 3-year show cause. Current head coach Sharon Moore, a 2-year show cause. And he will be suspended for a 3rd game next season. 2 games this year, and then 1 more game next year. So that's basically what Michigan gets. The show cause, by the way, means that you got to go before a committee and explain to them how the person that's already broken rules isn't going to break rules anymore.
You got to show why you can hire them, basically.
And so, but like, look, Harbaugh ain't coming back to college.
No.
And Connor Stallions isn't going to get hired by anybody anyway. So.
I was going to say, who was going to hire Connor Stallions?
And by the way, if you're wondering, because I did, Central Michigan, they did pop him and Central Michigan for saying, like, hey, you weren't supposed to be there, dude. Central Michigan is under its own separate investigation on how they allowed that to happen.
Right.
Now, that being said, within the last hour, Michigan has appealed this decision, which is their right. The school put out this statement. We appreciate the work of the Committee on Infractions, but respectfully, in a number of instances, the decision makes fundamental errors in interpreting NCAA bylaws and includes a number of conclusions that are directly contrary to the evidence or lack of evidence in the record. We will appeal this decision to ensure a fair result, and we will consider all other options. So they're lawyering up. Now, again, that was a school statement.
Right.
Separately, the athletics director, Ward Manuel, put this out. Quote, it's never our intent to be in a position where we are accused of rules violations. I fully support Coach Sharon Moore, our student athletes and staff as they prepare for the season ahead. I appreciate Coach Moore's continued commitment to ensuring his program operates in compliance with applicable rules. I acknowledge the Committee on Infractions' decision to not penalize our current student athletes by eliminating postseason opportunities. However, a postseason ban should never have been a consideration in this case. I fully support the university's decision to pursue an appeal. Coach Moore and I will not have any further comment.
Wouldn't you love one time, and this will never happen, the statement coming from, we'll just use Michigan. The official statement on this situation from the University of Michigan, we won a national championship, stick it.
Yeah.
Because that's really what you're paying for right now, right?
And again, if you're wondering, because I gave you a $50,000 fine plus all those percentages over a 2-year period could, and it depends on exactly where Michigan finishes and what opportunities they have, but that could grow to as much as $35 million. I don't know if it will reach that high, but I think that's like the max. Like if they make the playoff both years and win,
right.
So it won't get that high.
Yeah.
But I think the expectation is probably just
30.
Just a little under 30.
And that's going to be 2-year period.
Yeah, and if you're wondering, because I did and I looked, Michigan's athletic budget is $250 million. It's $252 million. So the percentage of over the course of a couple of years is not that much.
No, and look, there are people that are going to be like, that's it, that's all.
And they're still going to appeal it. And look, again, the appeal is part of the process, so you may as well take it. So I don't necessarily have a problem with that. It'll be problematic if the appeal, in my opinion now, and I'm giving my opinion, it'll be problematic for a lot of people, if myself included, if they significantly lower these penalties.
Just look, you made the. You and I were batting this around first segment of the show. And I almost feel like there's just, unless you're going to go hardcore and just crush people, not death penalty, but you're going down the road of something like that, no one's ever going to be satisfied with the penalties.
Right.
No one. And if you're Michigan or whoever wins a national championship and it comes back, or Southern Cal, and it comes back later that you broke a bunch of rules, you did this or that, the fan base doesn't care.
No.
The fan base does not care because they just want to win. And if you win a national
They
championship,
saw Jim Harbaugh holding up that trophy and the confetti flying down.
All that matters,
there's a
dude.
banner at the ballpark, and people got their T-shirts and bumper stickers. It's all good, man.
Here's what you're not going to hear from a Michigan fan. Gosh, it was tainted.
Yeah. No. Now, everybody will remind them throughout Big Ten country,
And they'll just smile.
especially Michigan State and Ohio State.
And they'll just laugh at them. They'll go, yeah, whatever. We got the trophy.
Got a title.
Uh-huh.
So finally, again, we'll keep you updated on that one, but the appeal is underway. Finally, break up the Atlanta Braves. My Atlanta Braves have won 6 of 8. They just took 2 in New York
They're
against the Mets.
your Atlanta Braves again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, they were always my Braves, man. You know that. I was a little quieter at times. It's been a humbling year for Braves fans.
Oh,
man.
it's been a humbling year on this side of the glass, too, dude. Believe
been a
me.
humbling
It's
year.
been a rough baseball season for both of us.
But last night, Ozzie Albies might have had his best game of the year. Hit a double, a single, a homer. Braves beat the Mets 4-3. Again, taking 2 in the city. Now they travel to Cleveland. And Braves fans, I don't know how many of you feel about this, but breaking news just a little while ago, Ronald Acuna has been pulled off the injured list, and he will start tonight in right field, and he will bat third for the Braves. Atlanta sending catcher Sandy Leon back to Gwinnett in a corresponding roster move.
I don't like this, man.
Ronald has been out since
like
July 29th with what they called a grade 1 lower right calf strain.
I told you, man, come back in 2026.
Well, that's what I said, too. That's what I said,
don't
too.
like this.
But now, again, now the Braves are rolling, Ter. So
So, hey, let's risk that Achilles, baby.
let's
go.
get you out there and see what happens, son. I would imagine that there was a lot of consultation with Ronald and his camp on how he feels and how much he wants to play.
Oh, absolutely does. Yeah.
And he's going to want to. And look, both knees have been operated on now. You don't want to have anything further cause problems.
That calf, when I hear the 2 words calf strain now,
I get it.
very concerned about the calf strains.
But again, break up the Braves, man. They've won 6 of
They're
8.
flying, baby.
And they're only 15 games under 500.
See, it starts now.
I would just, a small moral victory this year is for the Braves to finish like 3rd, because currently they're 4th.
Yeah,
And again, try to win more than 72 games.
yeah.
If you could win around 75, 76 games.
If they got up to,
and I know that's a losing record. Y'all don't get it twisted. I'm not dumb.
I mean, really, and again, it doesn't matter in the big picture. No, but if they could win somewhere in the neighborhood of close to 80 games after this disaster,
they got 41 games left. If you could split them, you'd be looking at 74 wins. I'd take that.
Yeah, the way this thing started
I'd take that.
and what's going on this year with the injuries and just the chase.
Yeah, so we'll see. Anyway, that's our integrated media headlines of the day. Our Gamecock notebook on the other side with our good friend Jordan Kay of the State, the latest from Gamecock camp going into another weekend. Just a shade over 2 weeks from the start of the season. Jordan joins us on the other side. All right, welcome back in. Time for our Gamecock Notebook here on this Friday. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford with you. And featured on the Notebook today is our buddy Jordan Kay on the beat covering the Gamecocks for the state newspaper. Appreciate your time, sir, on this Friday. It's day 220 or so, as I've said, of the Rasul Faison watch. Any reason for Jordan Kay or anyone else in the media or any fan to be further encouraged about a decision coming, say, by Monday, Tuesday?
The only thing I can think of is the NCAA got all their people back on track after this Michigan thing. They finally got some free time, and now they can start focusing on other things. Aside from that, I think there's no reason to have any extra optimism. I mean, this thing has dragged on past the point of anyone trying to speculate, oh, yep, it's going to happen tomorrow, because, I think I've heard that since Shane Beamer came out in May, that this is going to get resolved in a week. And, here we are 200 and however many days later.
Yeah, again, I got 220-ish, so that's what I'm going for. Scrimmage tomorrow, closed to everybody, but it'll be inside Williams-Brice. How much did they learn last week, and what more? I mean, how much closer are we to sort of a paring down of this roster tomorrow?
I think we're a little closer. This is going to be a team where I think there's a lot of depth already out there. There's going to be a lot of rotation at the edge spot, at defensive tackle. I think there's going to be more rotation in the secondary, more rotation at running back, at wide receiver. And this might be one of those seasons where they're not going to come out of camp, not going to show up on August 31st and say, here are our 22 starters, and this is, what it's going to look like. We could see a lot more by committee type thing. And so when you start to think of those camp battles, you really almost look at, hey, is it Vakari Swain or Brandon Cisse at that one corner spot? Who are the wide receivers who are just going to start? Everyone we think is going to play a little bit. And then what about the offensive line? Who are those interior guys at guard going to be? I would think maybe Trevon Baugh gets a nod at one of them, but what about the other? And then, third string quarterback, I think, is the fun one, and kicker. So there's a couple of position battles, but definitely not as many as in the past.
One we really don't talk about is with the left guard spot. You've got the freshman, old Shed Surratt. You've got Nick Sharp, who had a good year at Wake Forest, but has been injured. I mean, I know that you are hiding the bushes and you've got a lot of video. Jordan, what do you think of that battle right now? We really haven't discussed it that much.
Yeah, we haven't gotten a ton of insight on it. In the little we see, it's not like we can parse through much of that. I think the one thing is, I believe it was Kason Henry, right tackle, said he really thought the transfers looked extremely good in the first scrimmage, which to me kind of was a indicator that, hey, maybe Nick Sharp looked really good, but who knows? Maybe Shed Surratt comes in, as has happened the last two seasons with Tree Babalade and Josiah Thompson. A freshman could have a very big impact on this South Carolina offensive line. And then you've got to look at some of the dudes who have been on this roster for a couple of years now. Can Tree Babalade, after moving to guard, make a case for himself as a starting left guard? What about Marquis Anderson, who's been on this roster now for a couple years? Those are, all those questions you would hope get settled in the next couple weeks.
Talking to Jordan Kay on the Gamecock beat for the state paper. Again, Carolina has its second August camp scrimmage tomorrow over at Williams-Brice. It'll be closed to the public and the media, but we'll try to glean some things from Coach in the coming days.
Jordan's got ways.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan's got ways.
He absolutely
That's
does.
right, absolutely.
I want to come back to a somewhat hypothetical question for you that we've been asking ourselves and some of our guests this week, and I want to include you in it. And it's where potentially Coach Beamer, Coach Shula, and Coach Blackwell draw lines with Rasul Faison right now. You want to get him some reps, but especially tomorrow, how much do you really have to go with the guys are going to play while not limiting his opportunities. I guess the good news is, obviously, Jordan, he was here in the spring. Isaiah Augustave was not, so you want to get him some run too. But have you learned any more, perhaps, on how they're trying to determine just what to do with an unknown relative to all the other knowns?
No, but I think the one thing that we might have to, hold the beat on is I think Oscar Attaway is the starting running back of this team. Whether Rasul Faison is cleared or not, and I think that can kind of open a pathway of saying, hey, we're going to give Oscar all these RB1 carries in the scrimmage because we think he right now is RB1, and then you're just splitting the carries like you normally would. So give Matthew Fuller the same amount of carries and give Isaiah Augustave the same amount of carries and give Rasul Faison the same amount of carries. I don't think this is going to be a situation where they start limiting Rasul's carries in a scrimmage because they're nervous. If anything, it seems like the confidence has not waned at all over those 200 days. And if anything, they're just waiting for him to get cleared. And to me, that makes it sound like, hey, they're going to give him the same go as they would have, whether this NCAA thing was going on or not. And, I was a little, I think one thing where you see everything with Faison and you just start thinking about like what's going on in the background, and he didn't show up to last Sunday's practice. And I'm like, oh boy, maybe he got some bad news. Maybe, something happened. And turns out, well, he was playing in the scrimmage and, just got roughed up a little bit and had to take a day off. So it's based on that. It seems like they're still throwing him out there, preparing like he's going to be on the field against Virginia Tech on August 31st.
Hey, Jordan, speaking of the rest of the running backs, let's move Faison out of the way and let's move Attaway out of the way. What are you hearing about the rest of the crew? We got a couple youngins that have been here last year, and Hal, and obviously Fuller, and, adding transfer portal. What are you hearing about the rest of the crew?
Yeah, Matthew Fuller just keeps drawing attention. Everyone always says really good things about him, and you look at his body type, just a really stout running back who I think has a chance to kind of become RB3, RB2, right in that mix. And then, there's a chance that he's this team's running back of the future after Attaway and Faison move on. Augustave, the skill set that he brings and what he did at Colorado, I think is great. It's awesome. But he missed the entire spring. And I think Matthew Fuller, who's been here for a couple of years now, has a little bit of a heads up on him. And I would kind of expect him to jump into that role, whether or not Faison's there. And then behind him, it's Augustave and Jawarn Howell. Hey, which one of you is going to be able to kind of do all the little things right and get on the field?
Last thing for you, wide receivers, and I'll maybe blend the tight ends in a little bit here because there are lots of numbers at both spots. And again, I asked you earlier about paring down those numbers. How important is it tomorrow for some of those gray area guys to really show out, A, and B, how many do you think are just, I think we know a couple at receiver for sure, probably two at tight end for sure. How many more are we looking for in terms of really paring it down tomorrow?
Yeah, that's what I don't know, because I don't know how much they're actually trying to pare it down. Just based on hearing Shane Beamer and all these players talk, it seems like they're trying to play a ton of guys. I don't see any reason why they're not going to play three tight ends, because that's kind of what they did last season.
Mm-hmm.
Brady Hunt's going to be out there. Michael Smith's going to be out there. And I think the Kentucky transfer Jordan Dingle is going to play a decent amount. Then you look at the wide receivers. Okay, well, we know Nick Harbor and Mazeo Bennett are going to play. Check and check. We think Jared Brown and Vandravius Jacobs, two guys who were here last year, are going to play. Check and check. Donovan Murph, Malik Clark, and Brian Rowe, who have all just drawn incredible reviews, are going to play. That's 7 guys. Okay. Then, maybe that's where it starts to get parsed down a little bit, and that's your kind of line of demarcation. Can a guy like Jaden Sellers or Lex Cyrus or Jordan Gidron prove enough to get themselves on the coaches, get themselves enough trust from the coaches where they have to be included in some packages, where they have to get out on the field, and Lenore Sellers is going through some games throwing the ball to 10 different guys. I think that's a possibility, and I don't know if they're trying to really cut down those numbers because, who knows what's going to happen throughout the season. Injuries, guys could just progress at a different rate. So I don't know if they're necessarily trying to just cut down and say, hey, here's whoever's going to, play.
Good stuff as always, sir. We appreciate you. Enjoy the weekend. We'll holler at you soon.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
That's Jordan K. from the State. Jordan K. with an E_23 to follow on Twitter, thestate.com, GoGamecocks.com. Drive around the SEC is next. And you know what? I'll just jump right off of what Chris Logan just told you and add even more to AAA Heating and Air because they have done some fantastic work at my house over the years, including here a few months back when the old system in our upstairs finally said that's it. It had been serviced a couple of times, and we finally knew, you know what, this thing's it's kind of had its shelf life run out. And so called AAA within 48 hours, brand new system installed. That's where my kids sleep. They were really happy because it's like, Dad, it's kind of miserable up here. And now, hey, Dad, it's great. In fact, when they're like, Dad, it's really cold, I'm like, hey, it's a brand new system. That's what it's all about. If you need a brand new system, take advantage of some fantastic opportunities, guaranteed financing, $1,500 system buyback rebate, 15-year parts and labor guarantee, and 12 months, no payments or interest for qualified buyers. Fantastic people. Quick repair, brand new system, anything in between. 803-677-1500. Work with the great people at AAA Heating and Air.
Oh, we still have a couple accidents to get into in Blythewood, US 21, North Pines Road. In Columbia, my screen just, there it is, it's back again. Charleston Highway at Old Dunbar Road. Garner's Ferry Road near Pineview Road. It's obviously in Richland. Lexington I-26 eastbound at Piney Grove Road, exit 104. Right lane is blocked, I-77 northbound before East Peach Road, exit 32. And in West Columbia, stop-and-go traffic, I-26 westbound between Augusta Road and St. Andrews. That is exits 111 and 106, that area. Very slow traffic. And obviously, we have our long-term road construction that seems to go on and on and on and on. Drive Around the SEC is next here on the postgame show.
It is Drive Around the SEC time. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you here on a Friday. Thanks again to Jordan Kay for joining us, part of the Gamecock Notebook. Turn our attention to the rest of the conference now. We'll have a little fun on this Friday as well because, honestly, Hugh Freeze and Auburn are setting themselves up for something. First, real quick, I'll give you some news. Al Golding today, the very successful defensive coordinator at Mississippi, has signed a new deal to hang around Oxford and becomes the fourth highest paid defensive coordinator in all of college football, second highest paid in the SEC, behind only Auburn's DJ Durkin. Yeah, I know, dude. I just that guy. But that's a whole other story.
Golding has done a really nice job.
They've been great, actually.
I mean, last year, one of the things we didn't talk enough about was the suffocating defense they played at Ole Miss last year.
Well, I think they had 52 sacks.
What they did to Georgia, you remember that game last year?
Yeah.
I think they hit Carson Beck 700 times. Unbelievable.
Yeah, they're very active. But the only, again, Durkin, the only other SEC coordinator who makes more, and it's only a shade over. Golden.
We got a couple
or
of
Golding, excuse me.
We need a nickname for that guy so we don't have to say his name anymore.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I have one, but I can't say it on the air.
I can't even put it in my Venmo.
Right. Jim Knowles, who came over to Penn State from Ohio State, makes 3.1, and Southern California's Danton Lynn makes 2.65. So Golding, again, at 2.61, goes to number 4. So good for him. But, yeah, last year, let's see, second nationally in scoring defense, 14.5 per game. Led the nation in sacks, 52. Held 9 of 13 opponents to less than 100 yards rushing, and were second nationally in rush defense. By the way, it was the fewest yards allowed per game on the ground by an Ole Miss defense since 1966.
So think about this. A, all those sacks. B, you could not run.
You couldn't run.
Besides that, man, yeah, good luck.
Now, like the Gamecocks, they had 5 draftees. They lost 9 starters, at least at some point, guys that started 9 times or 9 games.
They lost a lot off that defense.
They did. So replacing it could be difficult. But as I said, to have a little fun here at the expense of Hugh Freeze, Lane Kiffin, if y'all haven't heard about this, and quite honestly, I wouldn't have gone public with it. All right? But Hugh Freeze this week told everybody that he and his staff have come up with the following system. Derek Nix, assistant coach Derek Nix, will call first down plays. Then Hugh himself will call the second down play. Then Kent Austin will call the third down play. Hugh Freeze can overrule a play at any time, but he says they're all working together. Lane Kiffin then tweeted out, so does a fourth coach call fourth downs? With two question marks and the thinking man face. Lane's been trolling Hugh all summer. Mm-hmm. And I think some of it is because Lane is Lane. I think some of it, Terry, is honestly because it may well be that Mississippi and Auburn right now are going after a lot of the same guys.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And which one is going to be more successful at getting a couple of kids to come to their campus instead?
And look, we all know when you're recruiting and it's that competitive, there are folks who are going to do negative recruiting.
Yeah.
But this is Lane. Look, Lane in person is underwhelming at times. Lane on social media is hilarious.
Right. Well, in public, you know, he just kind of stands up there
And mumbles.
and he talks.
Yeah.
But I think honestly, I think a lot of how he is in public, he learned from Nick Saban.
Absolutely. Because remember do you remember when he was at Tennessee and all the goofy stuff he was saying? Remember he went on this big long rant about rules or whatever, and he was totally wrong. And he kind of made himself look like a goober. And I think you're exactly right. He watched Nick and went, you know what? If I ever do this again, I'll be more like
I'm
that
gonna stand
guy.
up there. I'm going to be monotone.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to give you a ton. I'll give you what I need to give you.
For my purposes.
Right.
But I'm not going to be the goof that I was before I came to Bama.
And look, I'm hugely impressed with Lane Kiffin these days.
Yeah, I am too.
He's had, you know, it's clear for whatever the problems were, right? And I'm dead serious here. Whether it's Lane Kiffin or whether it's been Steve Sarkisian. And Steve had a whole different set of life circumstances to overcome once he went to work for Nick Saban. You know, but he overcame them. And look at what he's doing. And look at what Lane's doing. And he overcame his. And he had to go through the double hell of like going all the way down to FAU. You know,
the Nick Rehabilitation Center can help you if you're open to it.
if you
Just saying.
exactly that you just nailed it. If you really want to do it, and I emphasize that little tiny word "do," then there it was. And these two men, in my opinion, have done it. But listen. I mean, Matt Hayes of 1010XL in Jacksonville and USA Today eviscerated Hugh Freeze for this decision in his column.
Let's go back to that for a minute. And we were having fun with it. This is stupid. Let's just get it. It's stupid.
I mean, if you want to do it, cool.
Sure,
but
man,
you know what?
try
But
it.
you don't need to make that public.
No, if you're going to do this, which by the way, you're setting up disaster here.
Yeah.
How many cooks you put in the kitchen, and you know how quick you have to call plays and everything's moving.
I
It's
think,
craziness.
I suppose in some level, dare I say, of defense. Is that what they're doing? That was because I was trying to think, what's the justification here? And I could only think of, all right, I'm going to specialize. But here's again to your point. All right, is it 3rd and 2? Is it 3rd and 12? Is it 2nd and 4? Is it 2nd and 9?
Yeah.
There's just. Are you only like, all right, all the scenarios for 3rd down I'll be working on, all the 2nd down, first, what, like.
And what do we always talk about play calling? It's an art.
Right.
Play calling is an art. One guy needs to do it, the guy who gets the rhythm of it and gets the feel and instinct. How are you going to get any of that when one guy's calling 1st down, one guy's calling 2nd down, one guy's calling 3rd down? And like Lane said, who's calling 4th down? It's this. And if you're going to do this, for the love of God, don't tell everybody. You don't need to put this one public, right?
Right.
Because this sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
Can you see that meeting? Well, I got a great idea. Hey,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they came up with it, but again, I wouldn't have gone public with it.
no.
I wouldn't have gone public with it.
Oh,
But
jeez.
yeah, and I almost think though too is Hugh going public with it?
Is he okie dokie?
Is it a CYA?
Yeah.
Like in other words, hey,
Yeah.
I didn't call that 3rd down play.
Yeah. Or is he throwing this out here and is it really going to happen this way?
I don't know.
You know, this is. You know what I think? It almost feels like this. Sometimes you outsmart yourself in life.
Yes.
It feels like one of these.
Yeah.
I got a great idea.
Yeah. Real quick, this is my own opinion. Look, there's some huge games. So if you don't hear one, it's not because I didn't think about it. But games like, look, Texas is going to play Georgia and Bama's going to play Georgia again. Of course, LSU, Bama every year and things like that. So there's some really huge games that we already know about. Tennessee, Bama, things like that, Iron Bowl. But I was looking around this morning at some games that we're not talking about, and I borrowed at least one of them from Josh Pate. Then I went on my own and looked at a couple of more, like games that are actually, I think, going to be really, really important in the SEC that aren't getting a lot of August attention in no particular order. Again, that Texas at Florida game, that has big potential. Again, it really does. Oklahoma at Tennessee. That, by the way, that Texas Florida game's October 4. Oklahoma at Tennessee, November 1. That could be a big game. Bama at South Carolina. That's after Bama plays Missouri and Tennessee. And so I think that could be a really pivotal game when Bama comes to Columbia. A&M at LSU, same day, October 25. That could have big, big implications. And again, mentioned it just now, Bama at Missouri on October 11th. I mean, listen, Missouri's won 10 games 2 years in a row. They
Absolutely, man.
I just, again, just 5 I just kind of picked, not randomly necessarily. And there's some other really good ones, but I just haven't heard really a lot of talk about those games relative to, again, what happens when Texas visits Athens? Well, I don't know, man. But, yeah, I get that's a big game. Bama, LSU, again, always a big game. I'm not, but what are some of those other ones? Because this year, there's a whole mess of them. That's our drive around the SEC. Some final thoughts on Top 5 Friday and Jay versus the Internet coming up. All right, welcome back in. Final few minutes of the post-game show here on a Friday. Again, a Gamecock football scrimmage tomorrow, not open to anybody other than people that work for them. Unless, like, maybe they let some parents in or something.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know who gets to.
Some buddies of somebody. Somebody's next-door neighbor's uncle.
I called and asked if I could go.
Well, how'd that go?
Poorly. I was like, come on, I won't tell anybody.
I'll keep all of it on the down low, I swear. I'll wear like I'll dress like Connor Stallions.
Yeah, I'll be Connor Stallions.
I'll be Connor Stallions, I swear.
And by the way, again, on that, the Connor Stallions thing, Central Michigan is under their own separate investigation on how and why Connor Stallions was on their sideline. Jim McElwain no longer the head coach. He works in the athletics department at CMU, but he's not the head coach. All right, Top 5 Friday today.
I got someone on the text line, too, so go ahead.
All right. Well, you want to do a couple of those real quick,
Yeah,
then we'll give ours?
real quick on the Firehouse
hit a few, because if you do them, I'll tally here because I actually we have a four-way tie here right
Nice.
now, so you might break it here. So
Cowboys, Steelers, Giants, Packers, 49ers.
all right, hold on.
That's
You
a good
don't go
one.
too fast because I gotta tally these.
Cowboys,
Do that. Yeah, do that one again. Cowboys.
Steelers,
Yep.
Giants,
Okay.
Packers,
Okay.
49ers.
Okay. All right.
Next,
Yep.
Cowboys,
Yep.
Chiefs,
Yep.
Dolphins. How about that one?
That's our first Dolphins.
49ers,
Yep.
Eagles.
Just-
And one more for you real quick.
Okay.
Packers,
Okay.
Cowboys,
Okay.
Steelers,
Okay.
Washington,
Okay.
and the 49ers.
All right. You want to give yours, or you want me to do mine?
Do yours first. I'll do mine.
All right. I had to take mental Pepto for this. Sorry, I'm not next to my microphone. For one of these. For one of these. All right. I think the first three of this one we're going to pretty much, and they are. It is tallying out the Cowboys, the Packers, and the Steelers.
Yep,
That's my 1, 2, 3.
I agree.
For number 4 on my list, I have the 49ers. I think they are a huge brand, and they've been good. Again, they're generationally good. They've had everybody has their pockets of crappiness, but they are generationally good. And the one that I didn't want to put on here, but I had to admit, you know what? People really do like them. The Raiders.
Yeah.
And I hate the Raiders. I don't hate the Raiders like I hate the Mets. But as a lifelong Bronco fan, or at least a Bronco fan since the Carter administration, I don't like the Raiders at all.
Yeah, I get you.
Like, I really, 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 really don't like.
What division are they in?
They're in the AFC West.
Who's in the AFC West?
The Denver Broncos.
You know what's really stupid here? You and I have the same 5, just in different order.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
That's what's weird here,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
I went and I did Cowboys 1 because they're the most polarizing team in America.
Yeah.
I had a tough time with Packers Steelers. I'm
Okay.
not going to lie to you.
Okay.
I ended up going Packers 2, Steelers 3.
Okay.
I have the Raiders 4
Okay.
because the Raiders have been Raider, and I hate those blank nations. I can't stand that.
Raider Nation.
The Raiders have been a thing my whole life.
They have.
And they've been a national thing my whole life.
They have.
Remember, when we were kids, it was like criminals love the Raiders,
Well,
right?
yeah, they did, man.
Uh-huh.
And then how many guys got, like, perms because of Todd Christensen?
Right. And then I have 5. I have the 49ers.
Okay.
I remember I had friends of mine go to the Raiders-Ravens AFC Championship game in 2000, and these are guys who grew up in Baltimore who have neck tats.
Right.
And they said they were actually scared for their lives with those guys dressed up like the Road Warriors and all that crap.
Yeah, definitely, man.
I mean, the Raider thing is a thing.
Yeah.
So, yes, sir.
Okay, so in what ends up being a very close vote, those of you, we had a lot of you, thank you for participating here. All right, Cowboys, I'm going to have to actually do a 6th because we'll have a tie. So let me do that one real fast, and that would be Kansas City. All right, so Cowboys are number 1. We have a tie for 2nd. Steelers, Packers. They got the same number.
Makes sense.
Next, Niners, then Raiders, and we'll give the Chiefs, again, that's 6, so we could technically just say, but those ones that we picked, and that's kind of where I thought it would go. But let's see, how many others? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 15 teams got votes.
Anybody surprise you? I mean, the Dolphins kind of came out of nowhere, but Dolphins were good for a long time.
Well, let's
back
see.
in the
Like
day.
for instance, I say that, but like the Bills only got a vote. I think what surprised me, the Giants and Eagles only got one vote each. I mean, compared to the numbers that we had, they didn't get a whole lot of support. And again, maybe people feel they're more localized.
Yeah.
And that's probably true.
Yeah, I would say that.
I mean, the
That makes
Eagles
sense.
have some pockets of fans or whatever.
Yeah. But and the Giants, if this was a 10, 15 year ago thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We'll get back to Jay on the internet Monday.
yeah, I'm
we'll
sorry.
give it a break. We're good.
All
That
right,
was
that's
fun,
fine.
man.
All
Top
right, yeah.
five was fun. Have a
Yeah, it
good
was.
weekend. I'll see you Tuesday, sir.
Yes, you will indeed. Enjoy dorm day.
I can't wait for move-in day, buddy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.